Sacktown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sacktown Sports headlines. The Kings' magic number is still 1, and they look to clinch their first playoff berth since 2006. The Kings can clinch a spot with a win against the Trailblazers tonight, or a loss by either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Clippers. You can listen to tonight's game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sacktown Sports. Kings rookie Keegan Murray is also looking to make history tonight. Keegan is just three three-pointers away from breaking the rookie record for threes made in the season by Donovan Mitchell, set in 2018. It is 11 o'clock. Time to check out Cosi Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. Now it's time for Deuce and Mo.
Live from Sacramento.
It's Deuce and Mo
On Sacktown Sports.
We are live! Welcome in and happy Clinchmas. Merry Clinchmas!
Whoa. We're going to do...
We had Clinchmas already.
Yeah.
No. This is Clinchmas.
No.
Cinco de...
Since it's the 5th day that the Kings have been
There we
able
go.
to clinch, I believe that it is Cinco de Clincho.
Cinco de Clincho.
Yeah, but I already had songs ready for Clinchmas.
Oh, okay. Well, Chris might have one too, but...
I'm dreaming of a King's Clinchmas. Just like
the one...
you ruin it every time. If you're gonna, you can't hesitate, and then you are way too loud into it, and then you mess up my lyrics.
Okay, here. Do it again.
It's over. Dreaming of a King's Clinchmas, just like the ones you used to know. Never mind.
I don't
Maury,
know
you
the
suck
lyrics.
at
Wait, why
this.
do I
It's
suck at
terrible.
this?
It's
You
a
were
good thing we
terrible.
kept on to
Awful.
Clinchmas for that amazing song.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was
Time
great.
out.
It was great.
Why am I terrible when I was just copying
No.
what he was saying?
Yeah, you're not confident. You do the hesitation. You're not good at it. It's fine.
It's
Some
hezzy.
people have strengths. You don't. Your strength is not in this area.
You don't.
Yeah.
You
You
don't
don't,
have
no.
strengths.
So
Merry
I hear
Christmas.
we're still going hard as. Come on, no one thinks that tonight is a jinx possibility, right?
No.
It's the Kings and Blazers.
No.
Wait, are you
It's
guys
not-
serious?
I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. Chris Watkins in with us as we talk about this. Kings and Blazers tonight. It's pretty simple. The Kings win tonight. I want to
Deja vu all over
I do
again,
want
is
to
it not?
congratulate I want to congratulate Portland for a second.
Yeah.
They're the one team in the NBA.
Sacrificial lambs. They sacrificed.
I think they're the one team in the NBA who did not have a G League team. We're going to see the G League team tonight, making its debut against the Sacramento Kings. So, yeah,
Rip City, Portland.
Woo.
look,
Yeah. Look what?
No.
Look what?
the Kings are favorite at this moment by 14
Yeah.
points.
I'll tell you something about Vegas. That's a lot of points.
That's a
lot
lot
of
of
points.
No Dame, no Anthony Simons, no Jeremy Grant, Nurkic, no Baji, no Justice Winslow, Cam Reddish, and Trendon Watford are doubtful. Morgan, it's okay. It's okay. They clinched.
We said this the other day. Cat's out. Anthony Edwards is questionable. It's on their home floor. There's no way that the T-Wolves can win a second night of a back-to-back. Does that
Morgan,
sound? Was that
Morgan.
actual audio?
Were the Kings 14-point road favorites against
I
the
don't
Minnesota
do
Timberwolves?
gambling and favorite crap. I don't care what Vegas says. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anyone says. I don't give a damn.
Time out. You are a little nervous about tonight's game.
It's not about being nervous. It's about being smart and realistic. What was wait. You told me this morning. What's the record for the Kings on Portland's floor?
I don't think it's
No, why
even
don't you
worth
say it?
mentioning.
Why don't you mention it?
Well, let's play that game for a second. Let's
Sure.
go around the room. The Kings have played 110 games in Portland
Okay.
over the Kings' history in Sacramento.
Yep.
Let's go around. Chris, how many wins do you think they have in 110 games in Portland?
Well, the way you're setting this up tells me that it's probably not a lot. So I will guess 30.
30. Okay. Chris Verlod.
I will say 42.
You said out of 110.
10.
110.
Out of 110.
Okay.
They are 20 and 90 in Portland.
Well, you know,
But most of
Portland's
those years
nightlife.
don't count.
They were losing a lot during those years you're thinking about, the 8 seasons of winning basketball. They did not perform
No,
well.
but I'm saying most of the losses are when they've been absolutely terrible.
Yeah, but a lot of them happened when they were good. That's the point.
Yeah.
So the last time that these two teams played, it was a close game, and there was no Lillard, there was no Grant, there was no Simons, there was no Nurkic.
Oh, God,
Post
really?
All-Star, right?
Is that true?
The one
So,
in Sac,
and it was
Mhm.
February
Yeah.
23rd.
Nazir Little kind of had himself a little
What
moment.
was the
Yep.
final score?
Final score was 133 to 116.
Oh,
They-
The
wasn't
Kings found
close.
themselves down
Get
early in
out.
that game as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was really like the second half where they came back. Yeah, it was it wasn't beautiful.
It wasn't. No, I remember that game. It was,
Yeah.
it was pretty frustrating. It was the first game. I think it was the first game after the break. And yeah, all those, because remember, they
Yeah.
had the
No.
plane incident, if
You're
we will
right.
remember. They
You're
had the
right. I
plane
do
incident,
remember
yeah.
that. Just for perspective, if that was a clinch miss game, the Kings won, they would have clinched. So they won
Right.
the game.
They-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they
Yes.
won by 17
On
points. in
Quite a
that
bit.
game.
Yeah.
Okay.
On
the
their
point spread
home
tonight is
floor.
14.
On their
Yeah.
home floor. On their home floor.
Morgan, sometimes I wonder about you. I do.
Why?
I do.
I wonder about
do.
you when you're cocky as hell and it's one Monday night and you're
So
like, they're gonna win.
I
They're
got
gonna
my
win.
Modelo's to celebrate Cinco de Quincho tonight, and you're trying to bring us down.
I got champagne 7 days ago
Ooh.
to celebrate clinching, and
Okay.
it still hasn't happened.
Yeah,
Last
yeah,
night,
yeah.
what
Nice.
happened? The Pelicans end up.
Oh, that
That's
was terrible.
garbage. That's garbage. That was you're talking about relying on other teams to
Mhm.
clinch. How many games have the Kings had to clinch and they did not clinch?
One or
Yeah.
two?
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
One.
And you're right. Last game I was feeling pretty good about. Today, yeah, I'm cocky. Today I'm walking around knowing that tonight
Don't look at
we
me.
will be
Sorry. I'm on his
celebrating.
side.
We are celebrating the Kings ending the drought, and that's okay. You don't have to. That's fine. You could be cautious.
You're with
You
that?
could be scared. I
Yeah,
look at the
I kind
team.
of am.
And if you don't start expecting this, here, put it this way. If you, Morgan Reagan, do not expect the Kings to win tonight, then you must think the Kings are getting swept out of the playoffs. They have no shot. Because if you don't expect them to win tonight, you have zero confidence in anything that they've done this year.
So I expect them to win tonight,
Thank you.
but I expected them. No, I didn't expect them. I wanted them to win Monday night. Tonight, if they don't win and all of their guys are healthy,
I'm not coming in tomorrow.
well, we're already not coming in tomorrow. Yeah, but if they don't win tonight, all their guys are healthy. Portland obviously shorthanded. Then there's something wrong with them dealing with pressure. And if you know what I mean,
Yeah,
I don't even think
for
at
sure.
that point it's like
There's a lot of issues. If they lose tonight, there's a lot of issues that we're
Right.
going to have to discuss tomorrow. I'm
Right.
sorry.
it's true, and it doesn't matter. I think some people are like, "Oh, it's the end of the season. This is hitting." It doesn't matter because postseason is a whole different beast, and we keep experiencing it with these better teams. So if you can't take care of business against a broken team, against a G League team,
Yeah.
then you're done.
So there's a couple of ways the Kings can clinch
Mhm.
tonight.
Okay.
Just winning clinches a top 4 spot.
Incredible.
That'd be amazing. A Clippers loss and a T-Wolves loss, the Kings clinch 5. So the Kings are those two teams lose, they clinch.
Okay.
A Clippers loss to Memphis or a T-Wolves loss to the Suns, and the Kings clinch 6. So even
would
if
say
the
those are
Kings
probably
lost tonight, they could
probable.
clinch.
Right. It feels like that the Suns will probably win as well. I haven't looked at the spreads on that, but if I had to guess, Memphis and Phoenix are also probably favored in their matchups as well.
You don't want to rely on that.
No.
You just go win your game tonight.
Yep.
And that's why I'm walking in like that, Morgan, because we should have these expectations for them. They need.
That's fine. But no, here's my only thing. We should when they do it. They haven't done these things yet. Even Mike Brown talked about it before the Minnesota game in his pregame presser about how each experience they keep learning from. And I think the experience of that pressure that was on them on Monday night, they didn't deal with it well. But I mean, there was other things Minnesota was doing great. There's other technical things happening on the floor, sure. But you look at this experience now of it being a night, do you want to have it under control? You guys control your future. You get the win. You clinch. You don't have to depend on another team. This is all you tonight. What are they going to do with that pressure against a team that is this broken?
Yeah, I feel like tonight isn't even necessarily about making up for the Timberwolves loss. This, to me, is more making up for that Utah loss the other day, where that's the lesson that I want them to learn from. I don't really, take the pressure of the playoff situation, the clinching, all that off the board. This is about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you guys lost to a team that didn't have Lauri Markkanen, didn't have Jordan Clarkson. You guys had no reason to let that team dictate the way they did and beat you on their home floor. Tonight should be, okay, remember when that happened? Let's right that wrong.
And so until these moments happen, Deuce, that's when I expect. That's when I can start being like, yeah, that's the team that they are. Right now, they're a really good team, but they still haven't proven those experiences, those moments to me.
I was thinking about this. Like, what would you rather hear if you're in that locker room? If you had to choose between me going in there to the Kings locker room and try to amp them up, or Morgan, I actually think Morgan would amp them up more. Be like, I don't think you guys can do it.
Yeah,
I don't expect you guys to do it.
Reverse psychology for sure.
You guys are 20-90 in Portland.
Right.
You've lost to teams like this before. I don't know. We'll see. And they're like, who the hell are you? As opposed to me, who's putting them over like they're the NBA champions. In the YouTube chat, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. YouTube.com/SacktownSports1140. Benjamin says, I am Team Morgan on this one.
Hey, thanks, Benjamin.
Okay, you believe in grass.
You're all losers.
Todd in the chat says, Morgan is killing the vibe. I agree with that. She really is.
You're killing the vibe, Todd.
No Morgan, dude show.
Yeah. Is Dame even playing tonight? No,
He's
Dame's not playing.
I don't think he's playing the rest of the year.
He's shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I
don't think Portland wants to win this game organizationally. Besides the fact that everyone's sitting down, these guys are currently at the number 5 spot right now in the lottery odds. They have their goals this season is to get as good of odds as possible.
Do you think the Blazers would have a better chance tonight if they played some former Blazers?
LaMarcus Aldridge comes out. Bill Walton, come on.
They're not Bill Walton, but Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
And
let Brandon Roy on a 1-day contract.
Come on, man. The guy can barely walk. What do you mean? I'm thinking Rasheed, Damon Stoudemire. If Damon Stoudemire played, could he?
Get Sabonis' dad?
Suit up. God. We get an Arvydas Domantas showdown? I love it. All right, we got to take a break on the radio side. We're back in 60 seconds. It's Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Maybe Chauncey Billups suits up.
Ooh,
player coach.
Yeah.
How does Morgan not understand that gambling is directly linked to the talent on the court? No. So I understand all
Mansplaining.
things.
You get that?
Yeah, please.
So 14. They have to
moron.
But just to be fair, the Hornets were 16.5-point underdogs against the Mavs and won the game.
Yeah.
Last night, the Pelicans, I think, were 9-point dogs. They were up by 20 in that game.
They were. But that's why Vegas.
But Deuce ended up losing, so
Yeah.
Vegas. You guys are so ridiculous.
Man, be honest.
Wait, what?
She said ridic.
Ridic.
Where's last night made me a little
scared.
Yeah.
As they
turned it on,
should.
Their home crowd is different. When they play at home and they're able to kind of just get that ball rolling, it's scary.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I want to say this.
What about that Draymond thing?
That's what let's save it.
That was.
I'm so confused by the Draymond stuff.
So confused.
Yeah, we'll get to it, I guess.
Yeah. Get back. Get back.
You have to almost say something.
Stuff.
We only come back when you're about to say
Morgan is acting like we're going to lose to a team full of players who are going to get more minutes today than they've ever had in their whole career.
I'm not acting like the Kings are going to lose tonight. I'm just not sitting here cocky like everyone else was on Monday night. Monday night.
There we go.
It's the NBA.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sacktown Sports.
I am reminded of that 2018-19 season when the Kings played the Blazers near the end of the season. I believe it was the final game of the season when I was just like, the Kings get to can they get to 41 wins eventually? And it was all right, last game of the year. Can they just get to 40? And then you saw the lineup that the Blazers were putting out there in that final game. And you're like, oh, the Kings are for sure going to get 40. The Kings lost to a lineup that at the time featured
young Anthony Simons,
30. Who wasn't playing a lot. Jake Layman, Gary Trent Jr., who was not that guy, Skal Labissiere. Skal Labissiere in that final game had 29 points and 15 rebounds. We should also know Portland was so shorthanded in that game. Let's play a game.
Okay.
Another game. I like these games.
I love these
Here's
games.
another Portland game, and this is why you get scared a little bit. To Morin's point, I'm going to have her back here. Kings are 20-90 in 110 games in Portland. How many players played in that final game of the 18-19 season when the Kings were trying to get 40 wins? How many players did the Blazers play in that game?
7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 8.
Chris?
6.
6.
Oh, did you know that?
Oh yeah.
6 players.
Who were the 6?
I named the starting 5. The 6 was Zach Collins, who had 13 points.
Wow.
6. He had 13.6 rebounds in 13 minutes. The Blazers shot 58% in the game. Anthony Simons led the way with 37 points. He was 7 of 11 from 3. I mentioned Skal. He had 29 and 15. Myers Leonard had 19 and 11. That was Dave Yeager's final game as Kings head coach. Mind you, the Kings literally had their entire roster.
Okay. I'm just saying it's not about being like, oh yeah, the Kings are gonna lose. No one's saying the Kings are gonna lose. I expect the Kings to win tonight. That's fair. But I'm also not coming in here like I was even.
She sounds like a coach, man. That's what it is. It's just like coach
because I
mentality.
was a coach.
I was a coach. I played. Where they're like, no, we have to respect the opponent. We come in. I am with you on that.
Thank you.
But guess what? I'm not a player. I am not a coach.
That's
as
fine.
someone who
You just
supports
crush a
this
lot.
team, thank you.
Thank you.
As someone who supports this team, I'm walking around like, yeah, we clinched that time.
I know.
We
I get
clinched
it. I get it. And
I'm the
that's-
Draymond Green of this show. in
Oh
some ways.
God, I don't know if that's a good
Jeez.
thing.
No, it's a good thing.
Not.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Gotta wear
It's
helmets.
not a good thing, huh?
Yeah,
No.
well, I mean, to him, it's a good
It
thing
might
because
be.
he blamed their win last night basically on him and his energy.
Wait,
and
I'm sorry. He blamed
I'm
their
sorry.
win.
He
Credited their
Thank
win?
you.
There you go.
Yeah, Draymond's to blame for that win last night.
he gave
From our
himself
side.
all the credit
Yeah.
for that win and getting rallying his team back in that second half. So it was all Draymond. That sounds like Deuce, actually.
That's funny because after the game, all the Warriors and Steve Kerr crediting Draymond Green last night.
Yeah.
That surprised me. That
That was
whole,
interesting. It was weird.
when you were watching that game and the Pelicans are up 20, was there any point you were like, well, Kings are clinching tonight?
I texted our boss Brian because we on Sacramento Sports 1140 are supposed to go live when the Kings finally do clinch.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's tonight.
Yeah.
I texted him at halftime, said, "Oh, Pelicans looking good. Am I still doing the live stream tonight?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And at that point, I was ready. I had my laptop. I got the setup. I'm sure you guys were doing the same. But it's I'm sick of being mentally prepared and then being like, well, I just wasted the last 3-4 hours of my time being off, not relaxing.
Yes.
So
I my approach to I watched the entire T-Wolves Warriors game.
Same,
All pumped up.
Yep.
Last night I went into the mindset that the Pelicans were going to lose.
Yeah.
And I missed the first quarter and they're winning. That's cute. Kept doing what I was doing. I turned the game on, second quarter, saw all the chaos. I'm like,
Draymond kick him in the head, everything.
Dude,
Yeah.
how much of a mess.
Yep.
But I was watching it going, okay, they're just hanging around. Third quarter comes. I'm like, no, I just expect it. It was a different way to watch it because I was so invested in the T-Wolves Warriors. This game, I wasn't as invested in like, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. It wasn't as like painful, I guess.
Yeah.
I started brushing my hair differently in that first half, being like, okay, might have to do something, whatever. And then as soon as that third quarter started, though, Dante DiVincenzo coming out big with 2 different plays, you could feel that team. And then I think Clay came down and hit a 3, and it was just like, oh, oh, this is the Warriors team, a completely different team than they were in that first half. Yeah. But what they were in that first half, you guys,
flat. They were flat.
Yeah. They were the turnovers,
13, 14 turnovers in that first half.
And then you have your emotional energy guy, Draymond Green, chaotically, not even being able to stay on the floor because he couldn't stay composed. Steve Kerr had to take him out. That was comical as hell. I don't usually get this annoyed by a player or whatever. I'm just like, oh, you're a bum. Sit down, whatever. Draymond was so much for me last night where I was just like, this is taken away from the game. This is taken away from his team. Selfish.
Yeah. Go ahead. I couldn't really tell in the moment. I was like, this is either exactly what they need, because that is, I mean, that's part of Draymond's role with that team, is not just to do what he does on the floor, but he also recognizes sometimes, like, yeah, we're flat. We're not sharp enough right now. And, sometimes it is just getting the energy going, making sure the guys are fired up. I guess he had a really fiery halftime speech as well. And they came out the second half like you said, like a completely different team. And I was kind of thinking, like, you can kind of see DiVincenzo's face. You can see Clay's face. They're kind of like, all right, like, here he goes. Like, we're down 20 and Draymond's deciding now to pop off and do this emotional thing. And I was like, I can't tell if, like, the teammates are completely sick of this act, or, what ended up being, I think it actually kind of invigorated them and led them to that second half.
It's funny.
Wait, how many ejections have we seen this season that the player has done way less than what Draymond did last night?
So many. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, where it was like ejection or a technical.
It was like watching. It was like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah. Awful.
He's gone.
Just awful. And
why is he still on the court?
Yeah. Draymond gets to scream as much as he wants.
The leash they give Draymond is absurd. He should have been ejected from that game. I mean, Malik Monk got ejected. Trey Young gets ejected for throwing a ball. He crossed the line a ton last night. Yeah. I mean, he was nonstop talking. With Draymond, I actually don't think what he did at the end of the second quarter was what inspired anything, because I'm with you.
I don't think what he did. No, I don't.
I think Clay, like the reactions from Clay and DiVincenzo, like, I think they were irritated. I think everyone was.
Yeah.
They took him out of the game. Halftime could have been the different story. But you know what? They give him all the credit, which is interesting to me, because I thought the game changed by the other guys. DiVincenzo crashing the glass.
Yeah.
Kevon Looney getting offensive rebounds. Watching GP2 come in, and they were just fronting BI. What Kuminga did, fronting BI.
That lob yesterday from Kuminga too.
Oh my God.
That was nasty.
That was nasty.
I just felt like Draymond might have gotten them going a little bit at halftime, but they came out and they put the clamps on Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. So if Draymond maybe said something at halftime, or was it Steve Kerr, whoever, whatever, rallied them back in that locker room, that's where it happened. It didn't happen from his antics on the floor.
I definitely don't think the on the floor stuff mattered, but I do think that just the spark of energy was kind of what they needed, whether it be, I just think that they were really, really flat. And sometimes that's why you have those Draymond guys on your team, is to look your guys in the face. And Mike Brown always talks about how it just means a lot more coming from a player than a coach. But, sometimes you need somebody who's playing to slap your own guys in the face and be like, look, guys, like, this isn't us. We're better than this. There was definitely an air of, like, the Warriors didn't feel like that game was going how it should. They felt like there's no reason why this Pelicans team should be beating us this way. And they kind of took it. It seemed to me like they were taking it personal. Like they really were intentionally trying to send a message.
I just think with the way Draymond was going, he gambled last night.
Oh, for sure. He definitely could have, and probably, like we're saying, should have been tossed.
And that would have been a suspension.
Well, and that's what I said to Deuce yesterday. I was like, oh, he's abusing his power right now, because he knows they're not going to throw him out. The NBA doesn't want to be like, oh, yeah, we had to toss Draymond out. That's just ridiculous. All he was screaming was, how for 17 minutes. I mean, my God, you've got to make sure you have control of this game. And I felt like they lost control of the game by keeping Draymond there. But I'm glad that Draymond did get to stay in some ways, just to stay composed, play basketball again.
Well, if you guys have any clinch miss wishes you want to Give us.
Wishes.
You can drop them in the chat, youtube.com/SacktownSports1140. Maybe you want to call and offer some ClinchMiss offerings. I don't know.
Presents.
Or maybe you have
Presents.
plans of going out and having a fantastic festive
Yes!
Clincho. Sorry, Cinco de Clincho.
No, see, you messed up. It's ClinchMiss.
Cinco de Clincho.
Cinco de Clincho.
Merry ClinchMiss. We're back in just a few minutes. Deuce Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140.
We already had clinch miss.
Yeah, Cinco de Clincho is more of a party
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Oh my god. I guess I can't go to the bathroom really quick. It's tingle time.
Yeah, it's amazing when you like Draymond's got the reputation of being such a hothead
Yeah.
out there, but once you get that reputation, the leash you can get. It's
Mhm.
kind of like playing physical.
Mhm.
If you play
Exactly,
physical all the
yeah.
time, you may get away with more.
Right.
And he clearly gets away with a lot out there that other players don't.
No, definitely not. I mean, yeah, and you can say the same thing about Luka too. When you complain all the time, then it's like, okay, well, he kind of, it's when you really, really get set off. But it also puts you in danger of, like Draymond is at that tech limit right now, where, like you said, if he gets one more tech, he's suspended for a game. So it is kind of playing with fire. But I definitely think you're right. And they do sometimes play favorites though, as well, as we saw during the DeMarcus Cousins era,
Yep.
where it's like it can be a blessing and a curse for sure. Sometimes you'll get techs for things that you absolutely shouldn't. Where do you fall on like what Draymond does versus what Dylan Brooks seems to be doing? Is it kind of one and the same, or is there kind of a line? I think Draymond would probably argue that what he does is different for his team.
I think Draymond just has the rings to back it up.
Sure,
He has
right.
a legit success
Yeah.
where you're not sure if what Dylan does
Mhm.
always actually helps.
Translates, right. Yeah, because I'd say
Yeah,
that's
you
probably, if you were to ask Draymond, he would say, yeah, my anger, my fuel leads to what happened last night. It leads to I'm fueling up my team, where it does seem like Dylan is more just like trying to antagonize people.
Hey, and he got in their head. I mean, that was the most impressive part, was just the Warriors, and it's what made me a little more fearful of them.
Mhm.
Is that was a game without Wiggins, a
Mhm.
game that the Pelicans need to have, a game that the Pelicans were up in. Warriors were definitely desperate not to lose 2 in a row at home, but to see the physicality they played with, I'm like,
Mhm.
if they have Wiggins come back and
Right.
there's still no timetable, you take them real seriously.
Mhm.
But now all of a sudden, with GP2 out there, you got Kuminga, you got some physicality.
Yeah.
And look how crisp they look too. I don't know if you guys mentioned that.
Mhm.
Just when they're playing together and they're playing their game,
Mhm.
and I mean, just for example, if the Kings were going up against them and the defense isn't disrupting or altering their offense enough,
Right.
their offense is crisp.
It's also like part of that is like the amount of highlight plays they have. It's kind of like it's like their points count for more than what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
deflates the team too.
totally. Like I think of the GP2 steal and Jordan Poole dunk to end the third quarter. Like that was huge. That was a massive play. Such a clutch play by GP. I think of, it's just on the top. Steph's pass at the end of that kind of sealed it to Klay Thompson, where he wraps it around.
Oh my God.
It seems like he just threw it. And of course, Klay's right there and hits a 32-footer or something. Playing them is very emotionally demoralizing. It feels like as an opponent, it feels like you have to deal with the emotional side of the game just as much with the Draymond piece, but also with just like how deflating it is when they go on their runs.
And that's why I think whenever we talk about them realistically as being a team that could be in that 6th spot in a Kings Warriors matchup, it's like, we're not just banking on experience. We're not just banking on those highlight plays. Steph Curry, when has he shown that like you can count him out?
Mm-hmm.
Like that just doesn't happen often, especially with how many championships this team has won, how many late in games he just comes back. Yeah. We're coming back.
Scary.
Sass is upset we're talking Warriors. Yeah, the Kings made plan. We're going to talk about the rest of the NBA.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sacktown Sports headlines. The Kings' magic number is still 1, and they look to clinch their first playoff berth since 2006. The Kings can clinch a spot with a win against the Trailblazers or a loss by either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Clippers. For a preview of tonight's Kings Blazers game, check out our Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli's preview on SacktownSports.com. Our coverage starts at 5:30 with game night and tip-off scheduled for 7 right here on Sacktown Sports. Kings rookie Keegan Murray is also looking to make history tonight. Keegan is just 3 3-pointers away from breaking the rookie record for threes made in a season by Donovan Mitchell, set in 2018. Those are your headlines. Now more with Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports.
The Kings were a topic on ESPN today on Get Up with Mike Greenberg. They did a little roundtable with J.J. Redick and Brian Windhurst.
So very respectful, correct?
I love J.J. Redick. But he was hyping up a little Kings Warriors.
JJ
series.
was?
Yeah, he goes, that would be a tough series for the Golden State Warriors,
Ooh.
which is interesting to say. And then Brian decided to pop in there with his typical thing. He mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when talking about the Lakers. Here's what he had to say about the Kings today on ESPN.
With respect to the Kings fans and Kings Nation who are about to have a big game night tonight, the Kings are the mark. The Kings are stuck in the 3 seed. That's where they're going to finish. The Kings are the mark. All of these teams smell weakness on the Kings, not only because they haven't been in the playoffs in 17 years, but because they're not a good defensive team. And if you're the Warriors, who's planning on a long playoff run, they love the idea of being able to drive in the first round series. That's an advantage. The Warriors want the 6, which is why coming back from 20 down last night was one of the biggest wins of the season to get and stay in that 6 seed.
Stop it.
What?
The Warriors want the 6. I'm sure the Warriors want to be out of the play-in.
Yeah.
I believe that. The Warriors, as it stands right now, they are 1 game behind the number 4 spot,
Right.
which would give them home court advantage in the first round of a playoff series where they are unbelievable at home.
Right.
I still think, despite that their road record is dog-ass, they could still find ways to win on the road in the playoffs because they're the Warriors. But what are we doing here? You think teams are literally lining up going, I want to play the Kings? I think some would be like, hey, I wouldn't mind playing them.
Right.
But I don't think anyone's going, oh, yeah, I want to circle that team. You know, the team that scores 120 billion points a night.
Right. I mean, we're at the 3 spot right now. We're kind of in the power position, and we look at those teams like Minnesota, and we're like, I don't know if I want to play them. I don't know. It'd be okay if we play them, but I don't think anybody is looking anywhere, especially with how tight the West is, and thinking, oh yeah, that's a preferred match. I think everybody is kind of respecting everybody, and sure, the Kings have their disadvantages or advantages depending on which side you're looking at it from, but I don't think anybody is really positioning or can worry about positioning themselves anywhere. Like you're saying, like it feels like at this point you're just trying to win games and end up wherever it is that you are.
I'm with Chris. I think a lot of teams in the Western Conference, they're understanding each team's ability to play this game at such a high level that they know that they have to prepare differently. I think the only time we were ever like, this is the matchup we want to see is when the Dallas Mavericks were still up in that area, right? Like you don't even want to, when you think about the Pelicans, like that doesn't even sound fun for me. I don't fear any of these teams. I just go into every single one of these, looking at every single one of these matchups and going, all right, everyone is different. The Kings are a good team. These teams are good teams and have experience. So what does that mean for the Sacramento Kings? They're just going to have to work real hard.
My thing is like the playoffs are hard. Like
Yes!
they're not, like it doesn't matter who you play. All of the teams, unless they're in, like a team like Brooklyn, who's just not the team that actually made the playoffs. But like all the teams you face are going to have their own independent, unique set of challenges, and that's what makes the playoffs so hard. That's what makes advancing so hard. Like it's not meant to be easy. Nobody is going to be an easy out. So I don't necessarily think you should look at any team and think, oh yeah, that's maybe there's preferable matchups, but you can't really think that team wise you're just going to blow anybody out.
That's so true. If you look at this year's standings, how close it is, the perspective I have is compare it this year to last year. Mm-hmm. The difference between the 4 seed and the 11th seed right now is 3.5 games. Last year, the difference between the 4 and the 11th seed,
Quick math,
16 games.
Oof.
Wow.
But that's 16 games.
That's kind of typical.
That's
also,
typical.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So like we get so caught up in the seeding, 4, 11. Yeah. No, It's
Right.
bunched up this year.
Yeah.
3.5 separates 4 and 11.
That's
Last year
the
was
last
16
week of the
games.
season. Yeah, there's going to be so much movement. It's going to be insane.
So that's why I think what's a good matchup for the Kings? I don't think anyone feels good about really any matchup. I think if you're a team that's done it before, if you're Golden State, you feel like you can beat anybody.
That's my thing. Is like, yeah, why shouldn't Golden State? Why they're gonna? Also, you have to beat if you're planning to make the finals, you're gonna have to beat everybody or whoever.
Yeah.
The tough teams anyway. Obviously, yeah, you can wish for having an easier path, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to take down who's in front of you anyway. So it really shouldn't matter if you have high aspirations.
And there's just not many easy paths, like you're saying. Like even, I don't know how the scenario would work ever with like a Lakers squad, but even if you were the Kings and there was a potential point with the Lakers, it's like they're just a matchup problem with a healthy Anthony Davis.
Right.
We've seen what the Kings match up better against and what they struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we've talked about it when it comes to Minnesota, why there are things that are scary about them. It's not like it was a fluky win the other night for Minnesota just because they got in the paint every other possession.
I actually messed up what I said. That was not last year. That was 2 years ago. Last year was even worse. A discrepancy between 4 and 11. It was 19 games.
Oh my
separated 4 and
gosh.
11. The year before that was 16.
You said it's 3 right now?
It's
3.5 or
3.5 right now.
Oh my God. That's absurd.
Bunched up.
Like everyone's poking fun at Dallas, like, oh, they're such a mess. It's like, well, I mean, they could be back in the play, and they're tied right now, right behind OKC on the outside looking in. They could still get in.
Yeah.
This is just a different type of year. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. The West is bunched up. I had someone in our Discord be like, yeah, the Kings just aren't good at home. I'm like, well, they're not bad. And outside of Golden State, Denver, and Memphis, everyone's the same.
Yep.
Everyone's the same. So it's hard to figure it out this year. It really is. It's also hard to figure out this era of the NBA where people are looking at Sacramento going, yeah, but their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. It's like, okay, what teams are great defensively at this point in the NBA? There's maybe a couple of teams that you go, okay, they can lock it down.
Or they have an individual that alters an
Right.
entire offense.
Right. How do you guys feel about the travel aspect? Because I did hear Draymond on his podcast say that pretty much the same thing that Windhorst said, except Draymond's only reasoning was pretty much the travel. Just it would be easier on their bodies if they could potentially even drive to Sacramento. It's only hour and a half, hour 20 drive, bus ride from Golden State to Sac. They can potentially, sleep in their own beds every night, that kind of stuff. He just said it would be easier on their bodies. And, in the past they've had to do long, going to Memphis and then back to Golden State. It would just be a lot easier for a veteran, older team like the Warriors to make that short trip. Do you think that really is going to play that big of a factor?
I think for a team like Golden State that's got all the mileage, anytime you can get a slight advantage rest-wise in a series is huge for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're not going to feel the wear and tear on your body traveling between Sacramento and San Francisco. It's just not going to happen.
No, you're going to feel like you're home in so many different ways. And that alone,
that's a huge advantage.
It is. And especially because they have the experience plus that advantage with all the wear and tear that they have, it makes sense. But really quick too, you guys, I wanted to go back to just like the West being bunched up. I mean, what are the odds that it's this season that the Kings are their best that they've been in so long, and the West is the best it's been in quite some. I mean, you can say that. I mean, with teams bunched up that close together, just because I think there's the best team in the Eastern Conference, it doesn't mean that the West doesn't have multiple really good teams.
Right. I mean, the team with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are on the outside looking in right now. That's how much. I mean, and OKC is a team that doesn't have their number 2 pick in the draft last year, and they're sitting at number 10 right now. It's just the West is so deep, and of course, this is the season that the Kings get a high seed in the playoffs.
And honestly, the East is pretty deep too.
I know.
It's a league,
it's scary.
man.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that Toronto game, Toronto, Miami yesterday. Like Toronto's getting hot at the right time. It's I mean, turns out the NBA is as deep as ever, and there's just so much talent that it's like that everybody has somebody. You know?
And that's what makes it even cooler for the Sacramento Kings this season. I feel like is because there's nothing fluky about it. It's like they're going up against the best of the best this season in particular with all these teams in the West, and they're showing up.
Isaiah in the chat says the West isn't as good as previous seasons. Yeah, I don't know. Like not the top. I don't think, because we're sitting here going, oh, who's a front runner?
Sure.
But I would say the depth.
Just because there's not a front runner doesn't mean that it just means that usually
it's more competitive.
That's how I see it.
Every night.
Yeah.
All right, we got more on this coming up. It's Deuce Mo alongside Chris Watkins on Sacktown Sports, 1140 sacktownsports.com.
It's kind of like secretly a huge win for the NBA too, isn't it? Like the play-in tournament was kind of, people were afraid that this is like, why do you need to see a 10 seed have a chance to make the playoffs?
Dude.
This is exactly why. I mean, if anything, like in the West, you could see 11 teams.
Ooh.
This is a great time for it.
Well, let's take a Mo's minute to take a little breather as we head into Cinco de Clincho. Because it's just another stressful day, and everyone could use a nice, good, deep breath. Oh, I already see Chris Verlaud taking one. Mm-hmm. Let's breathe in through the nose.
The stress of winning and clinching playoff spots.
And out. And let's push all the losing out of our body. Okay? Ready? 3, 2. Do you guys feel like winners? You feel like a winner, dude?
I feel like a winner walking in the middle. When I looked at the schedule today, I'm like, oh, yeah, we're winning today.
Chris Verlaud, do you feel like a winner?
I feel like a winner.
All right. Well, that has been another Mo's Minute. Thank you.
I am scoring 6 points on Portland tonight if I checked in.
For sure.
6?
Yeah.
Doubtful.
I have some crazy Portland stats since they've been sitting there, guys.
Is our G Leaguer guy, John Butler, gonna be playing?
Crap.
Dude, he's good.
I didn't factor in the John Butler dynamic. That could be challenging for the Kings tonight. Let's see. Did he even play last game?
Well, he's on the roster.
Imagine that guy trying to defend Sabonis.
He wouldn't defend
Sabonis.
Sabonis.
He played 17 minutes last game. He had no points and 3 fouls.
All right. John Butler Jr. He was with the Stockton Kings for a hot second because they don't have a G League team. And he looked great in the G League.
Mm-hmm.
Well over 7 foot, can shoot and block shots.
Yeah, he's just got a little bit of everything, but he's really skinny, right? Like
really thin.
Really skinny.
Yeah. Like Matt George looks kind of ripped.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Matt George.
That's all right. Matt's frail.
Oh my God, both of
He's
you.
getting that dad bod now.
So. Frail dad bod.
Mike, when are we going to get the Kings Media pickup game?
Still waiting.
Dude.
We've talked with Kings PR and they are not down for it.
Yeah.
We tried to say if we can maybe like get on the practice floor, maybe get on the real floor.
We used to do that at Arco.
100% that's possible.
It's definitely possible. They just don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
I hear legends that there is employee Kings runs.
There's Kings runs all the time.
They're early morning, which I am not down for. But if that's the way it's got to be.
They just don't want, crappy it would be if people got injured on their, my shoulder's
waiver
coming out of it. Sock.
You can coach.
I think we should play. I'm talking about, we need to play like outside.
Yeah.
On
blacktop. Let's do it.
Sketchy pavement too.
Let's do it.
The old, like the one that's falling apart and you kind of
definitely.
Yeah.
They have the weeds are coming out of.
Yes, exactly. Got to have weeds.
These soft.
My best games.
Hang in that.
No, they can't. There's 0% chance.
Chain net,
double rim.
I don't want to start disliking anyone because of basketball, a pickup basketball game.
I don't think many people will be doing things. I had to guess. I think there'll be a lot of ball movement.
People get really insecure when a woman picks them or something. It's weird. It's so weird.
Who would be most insecure about you picking them in Kings Media?
Our guy Matt Barnes. Let's see, who would be
James Ham?
No, not James. James wouldn't care. James would be like,
about guarding?
Matt George. Matt George would
be like, foul.
When was the last time Matt played basketball?
Played basketball or shot a basketball?
Played basketball.
Played in a game, probably elementary school, if I had to guess.
No. I know for a fact he's played.
There's
within the last year or two.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah, I think he plays sometimes. I really do.
Frankie?
I don't think so.
He probably hasn't played since he's had a kid.
I don't think so.
I've seen him play with Tom Maley here.
When?
Okay.
Dude,
well,
Tom.
I've been to one of those runs. That's I guess that's half court.
They have some old man game, man.
Tom Ace-Step Maley.
I
could see that.
Smacked Pat in the face when we played the other day. I went over to their place to
Recently?
Yeah, it was during summer and
Front hand or backhand?
no, it was like elbow. Like
said,
I was
so you know, he said other day.
I know.
I know it was definitely like during summertime, but it felt like the other day. That was the last time I played basketball for sure. But yeah, didn't feel.
Hey,
he went
down.
down.
Pat. That guy's tough.
Yeah.
And he was he mad at you?
No, not at all. He was like,
okay.
he's like, check up. I was like, I'm checking up on you, bro. Like, are you good? No, he was ready. He was ready to go, and he was seeing stars.
Adam
sure.
says Kenny's gonna look like LeBron. No, Kenny probably would.
Oh yeah.
No, Kenny's
the most in shape.
Yeah, it's almost
he's played
not fair.
at the highest level of anyone.
I'm sorry. He's the what?
Most in shape
No, he's
out of everyone in media.
He's trying to say himself.
Damien.
But Damien's not playing.
Damien's definitely not playing.
Damien's not
There's
playing.
no way
Are you
Damien's
kidding me?
playing.
Okay, but
His athleticism is just for
There's
show.
Yeah.
Zero.
No,
Just for
no
show.
disrespect. Kenny's my guy.
Who's more? Who's
Dad bod. Dad bod.
but
You're
no,
insane.
who's more?
Are you?
No,
Dad
who's more
bod
in
for-
shape in media than him?
Give me 2 weeks. It's me.
No, you need
Give me
like 3 months, bro. You're a liar. You're a liar. Flat ass grandpa. Come on now. Like, what are we talking about?
Morgan, Kenny would admit this. He doesn't work out right now.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sacktown Sports.
Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, Chris Watkins. I love the in-between breaks. It seems like every few weeks it comes up. Hey, Kings media runs in basketball. Who would be good? Who would not be good?
I know Brendan's still offended that Morgan said he couldn't shoot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's really offended.
Wait, can he shoot?
Yeah, he
Not like
no.
I'm not saying he's
Is he like a two-hander like this?
just doubling down. He definitely got offended by that.
Here's the thing: the people who say they can shoot, I'm sure you could shoot around.
Yeah,
When I'm going,
when the lights are
shoot?
when the lights are
Can you
brightest.
shoot?
Yep, contested.
You
I
can't.
can't shoot. That's not. I've
Right,
never been a
okay.
shooter, and that's
Jason
not my
Ross-
thing. I'm everything else.
Jason Ross is a good shooter. He has
Yeah.
got the size so he can shoot over people.
Jason surprises people.
Yeah.
He surprised me.
I think
big
he'd surprise a lot of people now if he did anything out there. No, he.
What do you like? You talk like you are the most athletic, coordinated, strong human out there. You suck.
Yeah.
You are like a Dylan Brooks where you're just good at like hustle plays and getting into people.
I am
Like, get
Alex
outta here.
Lynn of Reckley.
Just Morgan, I'm just gonna say this right now. You just better hope you're on my team when we do this.
Oof.
Because
That would be
the
nice.
first
We
thing
would
I'm
be on the
doing,
same
Go
team.
here's the
one-on-one
first thing
would
I'm
be
doing.
crazy.
I am laying the nastiest
And
screen
you
on
would.
you. Concussion.
You would.
Get off the court.
Oh
No,
my
what you'd be doing is
God.
you'd be grabbing at her arm.
to
to get
get
it
my
to-
shoulder
yeah.
to come out. Yeah, dude. What are you doing?
What Frank said? Armpit hair, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Frankie Cardicelli.
Frankie's keeping score.
Oh
Yeah,
my,
like-
That's.
my God, you are
I'll take
awful.
Frankie on my team. I feel
Dude.
like Frankie could shoot.
Deuce and I in the pick and roll, like
Okay.
it's dope. Yeah, we would.
Don't try. We're not. I honestly,
Our
I don't
two-man
want to.
game.
I'm not running pick and roll with you. I refuse.
Well, the one time that one of the other times that we weren't, and I think it was on the old Arco floor.
Mm.
I remember he was like, because he's clumsy and uncoordinated, he's running across the paint. You guys, his knee goes straight into my thigh. Contusion. I'm like limping around the rest of the time, just trying to let
Yeah,
adrenaline.
clumsy.
It's really different playing on those pro floors, huh? It's like really big.
I
That's what I noticed. I was like,
guess.
man, I got to run down this thing like 16, 25 times. Yeah, you can't do that.
I lost a lot of weight that
Yeah,
day.
oof. Gosh, a lot of water.
Deuce gives off football defense while playing basketball vibes. A lot of shoulders. No, dude. I'm just into
Mhm.
you. I'm just annoying because no one plays defense in
Yeah.
these things. I'm gonna.
I definitely
play.
feel like you would be in people's faces
He is.
defensively for sure.
And it's
Yeah,
not
face
I wanna go
guard.
right now.
Yeah.
Let's
It's not
go.
Let's do
super annoying. Well, he's mostly on my team, but it's
Yeah.
not super annoying. It's more like, oh, he knows
See,
his role out there.
Deuce, are you also playing against the other team's best player? Or are you just locking up? Like you'll give that intensity
I
on
won't-
Matt
I don't
George,
care. I
and
don't
you'll
care.
give that
It doesn't
intensity
matter.
on Kenny.
It doesn't matter.
He could be up against the best
See,
player.
that's where it's like you have to do it against the best. To me, I'm
I will
like,
say
why are you
this.
really trying to lock down
Yeah.
me right now?
yeah, but
You know, I'm
Kenny
like,
would give me buckets. Let's not.
Yeah.
Kenny's a different level. Of
Yeah.
player,
But you would annoy him.
for sure. Yeah.
yeah, you got to talk. You know,
I mean,
get in their
you
head.
can say that about everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xavier in the chat says, "Hey, what are the clinching scenarios tonight?"
Ooh.
You got time?
Kings win, and they secure a spot in the playoffs and the fourth spot. A Clippers loss and a T-Wolves loss, and the Kings clinch 5th. A Clippers loss to Memphis or a T-Wolves loss to the Suns, and the Kings clinch 6th.
So we're just banking on the Kings winning. Yes, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
I was just counting off all the scenarios.
Raising your hair and counting.
The only one you need to know, the Kings
win.
That's all that matters because that's what's going to happen.
Oh.
And what an achievement that is, though, to have a first round series home court advantage.
Crazy.
You guys, this is
crazy.
And so many people have tweeted at me about this. They go, but don't you want the Kings to earn it themselves? It's like, no, tonight isn't the way that they earn it. They've earned it all season, throughout the season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people aren't understanding. It's like, yes, we wanted it on Monday night. Yes, we want to hear, but guess what? It's happening no matter what, whether it's one of the other scenarios, whether it's the Kings winning, and the Kings have earned this spot in so many ways, shape, and form. And it's insane that they are here right now. And they've got to feel good. I don't think they'll celebrate, but they've got to feel good tonight.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to get this work in the postseason.
Yeah, there are people talking about, they're going to have champagne. I'm like, what?
No, not
that's
tonight.
so stupid.
Not tonight.
And if they did, I'd be really surprised by that.
Yeah.
When did you guys realize that or when did you start believing like, oh, this team's legit? Was there a moment in the season where you went, okay, I think this team is going to be a threat for the top 6?
I think when I think about this season moving forward, I'll probably always think of that Clipper double overtime game. Just the way they won it and the fact that they did win it in the end, like the fact that they came back so many times throughout that game, they felt down and every time responded and then eventually pulled out the win. I think that was definitely the moment where I was like, okay, like this is like, and Kawhi was going insane that night. Like they took, I remember saying it at the time, but they took a punch from a heavyweight boxer and they came out on the other side and on victorious on the other side. And that was definitely the moment for me.
That was huge for me. Like that was like one of those moments.
That was like sealing it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Sealing. And for me, it was like, oh, this is what they are. And I felt that, but then it was weirdly enough when they hit the road and it was like the Bulls and then they took on the Nets. And I remember saying to you, it was that game for me that really was like, oh, this team is the real deal. Why was it that game for me? I remember thinking like, oh, they could lose this game. This is the best team that they're playing on this road trip.
Didn't play, right?
I forget who did or did not.
Somebody didn't play.
Yeah. But either way though, it was just like, I didn't have super high expectations. They proved me wrong once again. And it was like that moment I was like, I believe in this team.
Yeah, I think it's the Clippers game for me because you're wondering, all right, how are the Kings going to perform now that it's real? Clippers are coming out. They're playing their guys. They're throwing punches. Kawhi Leonard had like 21 points in that third quarter.
Road game also.
Road game. That was big time stuff. That was like, oh, this is not just a like cute little story. The Kings are maybe going to be in the mix. It's like, oh no, like they're going to be in the top 6 now. Where are they going to land? And remember, it wasn't that long ago. It's March 29th. A little over a month ago, we were like, are they going to stay in the top 6 post trade deadline? Pretty wild.
That's crazy.
I was worried about a lot of things for the Kings, but
really?
Yeah. I mean, I started the season just going like, are they even, they're going to be in that play-in conversation. Like the fact that they've exceeded every single one of my expectations this season and with a good Western Conference is just beyond me. And a lot of things had to go their way too, like guys, injuries and stuff too, but their
own health.
But they capitalize on 100%. Things going wrong for other people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a huge part of it. Yeah, you can say that injuries are the reason why the Kings are in the position they're in, but also they managed to stay healthy, and Mike Brown, to his credit, I mean, I think Mike Brown will credit the amount of practice time and keeping their guys ready. And, you know, they're obviously their training department as well is a big reason why, you know, they played the games. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis have not taken a lot of days off for rest. And, you know, that's not something that a lot of teams can say about their stars. And it's a big reason why the Kings are where they are right now.
Feels so good to be thinking about this tonight.
It does.
Enjoy it.
Happy Cinco de Clincho, you know?
It's a lot better than worrying about where the Kings are going to end up in the lottery.
They're going to lose
that
tonight.
Might mean.
I mean, they're going to be outside the top 7, man.
Yeah, exactly. Rooting for losses as well, where it's like, it's not good for. Actually, if we lose tonight, we go from 7 to 10, and that.
Well, and how much time was wasted, by the way, not just from fans, but from media in this town talking about the Kings should lose this game because, and it's like, oh, hey, they jumped to the top 4. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Huh?
Let's talk about it.
They won that game in Indiana last year. Oh, it was going to ruin everything. Get out.
Oh.
All right. Chris, thanks for hanging out. You are going to be on live tomorrow for 4 hours, celebrating. The Kings clinching a playoff spot. This could have been a 17-year drought. You get to celebrate it from 10 to 2 p.m. tomorrow with Kyle Draper.
Yep.
Dude,
that's
have fun.
Man.
Super
have
excited.
fun.
Yeah, last time Draper filled in last week. It was a great time. We talked to Kendrick Perkins. I think we have some guests.
So was it more fun than hanging with me that one time?
Ooh, great question.
Probably, yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Really?
I think so.
You said you were so excited.
No Morgan, dude show. Yeah.
That
was cool.
You said you were so excited to do a show with me. It was better to work with Draper.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It felt like it was. Yeah.
Well, you're probably gonna have one more time with Deuce coming up. That next week. Yes, next week on that Thursday.
Morgan's just taking all these days off.
I know.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Some days off. Some days off.
Trust me. I'll figure it out.
Jeez, you guys are lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up next, we'll talk some more hoops. It's Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports, 1140 sacktownsports.com. Good job, Chris.
Thanks, Chris Watkins. You guys gonna have Kendrick Perkins on again?
I don't think so. Yeah, I asked J. Ross if he would come on, and Hunter will probably
Nice.
Cool.
J. Ross.
Yeah.
J. Ross going to P-Town, as they call it.
Yeah, wanted somebody who has some connections.
Rip City, Portland.
Rip City, Portland.
I like that. Woo!
I don't understand how they booked a flight home on Saturday morning. Guys, think about this
That's
YouTube
the
chat. So
stupidest thing.
they're going to Portland for tonight's game and Friday's game.
Leaving at 1:30 today. They're gonna go immediately to practice and shoot around.
The stupidest.
Okay, so they booked a flight. So the game's Friday night. They booked a flight for 5:30 Saturday morning to fly back to Sacramento. 90-minute flight. There is zero chance I'd be like, no, we're not doing that flight.
I'll get a different one.
Yeah. I mean, by the time you get home from a game.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh yeah, no, you're not sleeping. Then you're just rolling out of bed to go
That's what
back
Frankie
to
was
the
talking about.
airport.
Frankie was talking about not sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did they
'Cause
save?
he's
So
done
they
it pretty much
saved
every
like
night.
$60.
No, honestly, like that is
Yeah.
weird.
You guys sound surprised.
No, I'm.
You guys haven't been here long enough. It's fine.
No, but that's the thing though.
And
it's
they
like,
only have they don't have the Airbnb that day. They have to check out that on Friday night. So
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, wow.
But that's what I
Jeez.
mean. That's the plan you would make if you.
They're acting like they're poor, like they can't afford any of these things where they could just reach out of their own pockets and spend an
Sure.
extra
I would do
$50.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And not that you should ever spend your own money when a corporation should be
Yeah.
spending on it, but like that's you just
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah.
No
comment.
There just needs to be more female presence to figure and help things out.
Anyway.
Wow, Mark Madsen's going to be Cal's next head coach. I remember before Kings T-Wolves playoff game, I was like went by the court. You know, you can walk down to the court area. All the fans congregate.
Yeah.
So I was probably like 14. I was just trash talking Mark Madsen the entire time. I could not stand Mark Madsen.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that you ever did that to? Like, was there ever players? Even
Do you
if it
remember
was
what you said?
I don't, but I know he acknowledged it.
Huh.
Because I was nonstop. I just couldn't say he was from the Lakers. And
Yeah.
you're like, why are you?
Yeah, why are you in the NBA?
How are you
Yeah.
in the league?
Yeah, stiff.
You're playing for the T-Wolves?
That was definitely in the era where it's like, oh, you're 7 foot tall, you have a 50% chance of making the NBA.
How tall is Mark Madsen?
Yeah, he was that tall.
That's the thing. He was like an undersized.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Did he take a swing
6'9".
at you?
Can I tell you the only
no.
king that I ever heckled?
You
King?
heckled a king?
Yeah, pretty often was Chuck Hayes.
What?
Yeah, I hear he's a great guy.
Why?
I was in high school
What'd
at
you
the time.
say to him?
It was the Chuck. I don't know. It was just.
What did you say? You have to be honest. What did
I
you say?
mean, you know, there was definitely some probably some weight jokes at the time. He's a big guy, you know. He's
you made weight jokes?
Probably not, but I just would.
You did.
Yeah, I would probably just clap.
What do you say? You're fat.
No, I would not. I don't think I would
what
go
were
that
the weight
far.
jokes?
I definitely would not.
That's
no,
too far. What were the
Chuck Wagon? You know,
But
that was his
kind of
nickname. But also, you know,
But he
You
would
emphasize wagon.
I would do it in jest. Yeah,
Chuck Wagon.
he got that wagon on him for sure.
Chris.
This is so crazy.
I would not expect this out of you.
I just did not
He was in
enjoy
high
that
school, man.
whole era of just like Travis Outlaw, Chuck Hayes,
What did you say to Travis
John
Outlaw?
Salmons. Nothing. I just hate.
Oh my God,
just couldn't,
same,
Just
though.
couldn't stand
I was
those
so
teams.
when the Kings got Travis Outlaw, I was like, good
Oh.
pickup by Jeff, man. You young guy, he did some nice things in Portland, man.
I was so
They
anti John
ammed-
Salmons.
Yeah. Which era?
First John Salmon, sneaky surprise.
Fine.
And I
Yeah,
know
he's fine.
people were down on him. Sneaky
Yeah.
surprise. Second one.
I was thinking the other day about the Tyreek Evans second stint. I forgot that he had
Yeah.
a second stint.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually pretty decent too. I think that was the last basketball he played.
Oh,
I don't think he played after.
No, I
Did
think
he
he played
play
after
that
that.
season in
Memphis?
Indiana after that?
Maybe he went to
had
Memphis?
Had a Memphis and an
No.
Indiana season. I
I
remember.
think it was Indiana.
Yeah.
okay.
It was he went let's see here.
He turned it around.
Yeah,
I mean,
he went Sacramento, Memphis, Indiana.
Yeah.
You guys were both right. You know, with Memphis that next
What?
year, he averaged 19 points a
Yeah.
game.
He really turned it around. Like he had a career going, and then he didn't.
25-5. Remember that?
25, 5 and 5.
That's what I meant. 25.
Come
on.
25.
One of at the time 3 rookies I think to ever do it. LeBron and Oscar. And
We've seen some stuff,
Tyreek.
man. We have seen some
We've seen some
stuff.
stuff.
Rashad McCants on a 17-win team.
Zach Randolph leading the team in points that one year was
Zebo, man. Talking to
Sacktown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlod with your Sacktown Sports headlines. Kings' magic number is still 1, and they look to clinch their first playoff berth since 2006. The Kings can clinch a spot with a win against the Trailblazers or a loss by either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Clippers. For a preview of tonight's game, check out our Kings insider Frankie Cardacelli's preview on SacktownSports.com. You can listen to tonight's game with game night at 5:30 and tip-out schedule for 7 right here on Sacktown Sports. Kings rookie Keegan Murray is also looking to make history tonight. Keegan is just 3 3-pointers away from breaking the rookie record for threes made in a season by Donovan Mitchell set in 2018. Those are your headlines, and now more with Deuce and Mo.
Live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sacktown Sports app.
Well, the Kings are 14-point favorites tonight in Portland. Next 2 games in Portland. If the Kings go 5-2 down the stretch, that means a 50-win season. But most importantly, tonight, if they win, it's official. They clinch a top 4 spot in the playoffs, meaning home court advantage throughout. What's up? It's Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. We got Anthony Slater coming up at 1 o'clock to talk some hoops. During the break on the YouTube feed,
Yeah.
we started. This is what you start doing when you start reflecting on the last 17 years. You go, man, remember this? Chris Watkins was telling us he used to heckle Chuck Hayes
What a
when he was
jerk.
growing up.
What a jerk.
Yeah, I've never heard people heckle their own players before.
No.
Like, I was joking about how Mark Madsen, he's playing the NBA, went to Stanford. He just got hired to be the head coach at Cal. And I'm like, oh, I remember during before a T-Wolves Kings playoff series when I was like 14, 15, I was talking so much crap to Mark Madsen, just making fun of his awkwardness.
Such a jerk.
Which total jerk move considering
Right.
I was like this 14-year-old dweeb. Like, it's like, oh, that's cool, kid.
Yeah.
But he was Chris Watkins was going at Chuck Hayes.
That
and
honestly,
Travis Outlaw.
When he was on the Rockets? When Chuck Hayes was on the
No.
When he was on
On
the
the
Kings.
Oh.
on the Kings, it makes me sad because there weren't many people that I disliked around the Kings. And I didn't even dislike, for example, I didn't dislike him, but John Salmons as a player, I'd get really annoyed with his body language and, the team wasn't fun. There was nothing good coming from it. Right. But I never heckled him.
You didn't dislike players. You just had players frustrate you.
Yes. That's what I would say. Yes.
I'm trying to think back, and I know there are longtime Kings fans out there. What is probably what when you think back to all the teams over the last 17 years, is there a team or player that just sticks out to you that just goes, ugh? Like I could look back to that 2008-09 team. The Kings won 17 games.
Okay.
It was painful. If you look at that roster
what
people were saying at the end of the season that year, it was Ike Diagu had a couple of big games. They're like, hey, I mean, should you bring him back? He had 20 and something.
And once Blake Griffin is on the team, it's going to totally change around.
Yeah. They had the worst record in the NBA. They won 17 games. Looking at that roster, Calvin Booth, who's now the GM of the Nuggets, Bobby Brown, Cal State Fullerton legend, Ike Diagu, Quincy Doobie, Francisco Garcia, Drew Gooden played one game before they bought him out and he went to San Antonio. Dante Green, Spencer Hawes, Bobby Jackson played on that team in his second go around. Kevin Martin a little bit before. And then you had Rashad. He had injuries that year. That's right. Rashad McCants, Brad Miller, Mikey Moore, Andres Nocioni, John Solomon, Cedric Simmons, Will Solomon, Kenny Thomas, Jason Thompson, Bano, and Sheldon Williams. What a squad that was.
Oh my. Do you actually remember that team and how you felt then?
Yes, because I remember Rashad McCants getting traded here, and there was a brief moment. I'm like, well, I mean, I know it didn't work out in Minnesota, but maybe he could do something. And then I saw him on the court before a game one time, and they did the high five line, like a very basic thing where they have like season ticket holders like on the court, and you walk through and give high fives.
Yeah,
he did not give anyone a high five, and I went, he's not a nice guy.
That's not good.
No.
You know what's sad about those moments too, Deuce? Because I do think about for some people, I go like, oh, what if they're going through some stuff or whatever? But then there really are just some people who are just not
happy. Yeah.
They're just not happy. They're not in it. They don't want to buy in. And it is a team thing. And you wish everyone was enjoying things. But man, when you're losing like that, it's hard. It is hard to dig deep and find happiness.
Man.
Did you ever have any players around because whenever you started this conversation, the number one player I go to is always who I disliked.
It's such a weird.
It's so weird.
Oh, you're talking about guys that maybe you liked during the stretches, random guys that you liked on the Kings during the tough times, or no?
No.
Sorry.
I was talking about a guy that I just randomly didn't like as a player in the NBA for some reason. Mario Chalmers. How random is that?
It is so
he annoyed the hell out of me. And still, even to this day, where I don't dislike him at all, but when I hear his name, I get this like cringe factor that comes over me. Like, ugh, like it's this weird feeling. It's triggering. I don't know why.
The guy for me that was no one else feels this way. I can tell you no basketball fan on the planet has ever said this. I could not stand Ryan Hollins.
Yeah, why? I'm sure other people had felt that way.
And obviously he played on the Kings, and before he played on the Kings, he just walked. I have a problem dealing with players who talk a lot when they're not that good. That walk around like they are, and just.
But it's what they rely on.
It irritates me so much. I can't stand it. I can't. So if you're one of those guys, I can't do it. And Hollins would always get in this stuff. And you're just like, what are you doing?
And he seems like the nicest guy now. Like since his career has been over, it seems like he's a really nice guy. He really loves the game, understands it. But yeah, that would be I
think the league caught up to me because mine from day one was Luka.
Seriously?
His face.
Whoa.
That pudgy little guy. He's not really little.
Yeah, but that's really interesting.
I just like from the very beginning, because I think it's just, and I don't think it's even his fault. It's just what everyone put on top of him.
If the Kings had drafted him, do you think your feelings would have been different?
No.
Okay.
Because what everyone is saying, like during the draft, was like, oh my, this guy is guaranteed multiple MVPs, multiple NBA championships. He is going to do like things that we've never seen before. It's just like, guys, he's not Superman.
Look at
like
his face.
just look at him. And it was one of those things of just like, basically they're saying if his career turned out like Dirk Nowitzki, it would be a failure. He didn't live up to expectations.
Oh my God.
Which I don't think is fair to him, but it just made me dislike him even more.
Yeah, I think he brings so much more on himself now too because of his nonstop talking to the officials.
Well, everyone's noticing it, and I think that.
And he went full Shawn Michaels and losing his smile.
Yeah, dude. I mean, even that, like hearing him talk about it not having fun the other day made me sad. But I also thought about how your style of play isn't fun for a team. Like that is so. I hated playing with players that were always the best, but they didn't know how to tap into their talent to utilize it to its highest levels, right? And I think Luka isn't having fun because he hasn't tapped into that.
On the chat, someone's like, nah, Luka with Sabonis would be nice. No, Sabonis would get frustrated because Luka doesn't play hard all the time and doesn't like to pass all the time. He wants the ball moving. He wants guys moving. They would get frustrated with each other unless Luka bought in. Is someone actually here on this? On the chat? I didn't want to go to it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is Doug. I thought I typed it in.
This is Doug. Hi, Doug.
Well, nice segue. Thank you.
What is up?
Well, I'm listening very intently here, so I was like, "Oh my God, horrible this, horrible that." Hey, Doug, how are you?
Yeah.
What's up, Doug?
But hey, I've got a little bit to add here. I've been a fan since you were going back 1989, so I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And one of the moments that was bad was when Holden Polynice was here. And then he left he came in, went to Seattle, and he comes in and he flips off the fans in the tunnel, and everybody's OP sucks for a while. So that was something. But for this year, because of all the excitement and what we're doing this year, the Brooklyn game, when we finally got on national TV, and then you're watching the TNT guys, and they're going, Barkley says, "Hey, stop putting the Lakers on. Why don't you put the Kings on? They're a lot more fun." So that was very exciting. But I have something for the young lady there, Morgan. I said, I'm surprised you don't have a chant for you where they go, Morgan, Reagan. Dun, 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 dun,
That's
dun.
a good point.
That's really nice of you. I appreciate that. I don't know why.
I have more.
Yeah.
I have more.
I hope it's good. What you got, Doug?
I'm not
Here we go. You're gonna get ready for this one. Get out your tissue here. My tops are Katie Christensen, Doris Burke, Carol Lawson, and you're moving right up there.
Wow.
It's really hard for me because I'm an older guy and very sexist, and it was very hard for me to listen to women talk about sports. And not to be funny, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And then I watch them on TV, and they go, all you're trying to do is be cute, and you laugh. It's like going on a date with a guy, and you have to laugh at everything that they say. I think that's horrible. But I love what you do because you have great information, and so it's a great compliment that I can give to you for what you're doing out there and representing. So I think that's
Hell
wonderful.
yeah.
That's kind.
There you go. How's
Thanks.
that, huh?
Thanks,
Shout
Doug.
out to Sexist Doug. I appreciate you, Doug.
There you go. But I can admit it, so you got to be the better man. Hey, I have no problem with that.
Oh, thanks, Doug. I appreciate it.
That was the funniest stuff I've ever heard.
You know it's.
Hey, young lady, I got a chant for you, Morgan Ray.
You know what? It's so funny because I do. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard in so many ways, right? Because a lot of time, Doug seems like he means well,
He
right?
absolutely does mean well.
And that's what I really appreciate about him. You can tell he's really from a different time.
Yeah, I think he's from like the 20s, the
Yes.
1920s, a long time ago.
Maybe.
I love Doug, but he's old.
And I do appreciate when people like can hold themselves accountable, realize their flaws. They come from a different time, so they're trying to learn and grow. And
he called on a rotary phone, believe it or not. That was the
did,
other thing.
He did. But it is funny, you guys, because I still will have older men and young men, and someone said to me the other day, they were like, yeah, my husband doesn't like any women on broadcast, but he likes you. And I'm like, that's not a compliment. You know what I mean? But it's sweet in ways that people are trying to grow and learn. So,
but it goes to show you though, like you're talking about representation matters.
Yeah.
It used to be weird to hear a female on a sports broadcast. And there's still a long ways to go in that realm with diversity and people of color on broadcasting for sure.
Think about sports radio. Why do you think always say like a female presence is just needed?
I looked at the media room before the Kings game and I counted There were two.
Three?
There might have been. No, there are three women. It was you, Katie, and Tristy from NBC Sports.
Yep.
That's it.
Sometimes Sarah Hodges is there and you're getting 4, but no, it's in those things matter, you guys, because it just how we grow and interact and learn. Like there's got to be more and more. So everyone's working on it. And I love that people like the older generation, like Doug, are learning and getting better too.
Doug was sexist.
It's funny. He said, I kind of appreciate him calling himself out with it too. So,
all right. Well, we got a lot more coming up. It's Deuce and Mo. We're back in 60 seconds on the radio side on Sacktown Sports 1140, sacktownsports.com. You're not bad for a young lady, Mo. Not bad. A young lady.
It's like going in a car with like a bunch of curves. Like, where's it going? Oh, okay, we're good.
And usually I put.
This was one of the times when you gave someone the benefit of the doubt.
I did.
It worked.
Yeah. No. And that's
good job, Toots.
Those times are hard for me because it's like, what are you saying? Like, and we're doing this on a public platform. Like, if it was just in person, I could teach him a little something, but it's like, he's trying. Gilberto, if Morgan is young and I'm 23, what does that make me? An infant?
Yes. Yes, you are a baby.
You cute little baby, you. Oh my God. Signor Infermo was waiting for the Toots reference.
It's Deuce and Mo.
On Sacktown Sports.
You ready for this day in NBA history, Morgan Reagan?
Oh, I'm ready.
This day, March 29th, 2023, the Kings clinch a playoff spot. You like that?
No.
Kings and Blazers tonight. It's going to happen. Are you on a reel this day in NBA history?
Yes.
March 29th, 1998.
Okay.
For all those people, especially the old heads that listen, please tell me about late 90s basketball and how we should go back to those days. Get this, Morgan.
Yeah.
March 29th, 1998, the Pacers scored an NBA record low. Any guesses how many points in a game?
54.
Great guess. Chris?
48.
A record low 55 points.
Oh.
That was the lowest since the introduction of the 24-second shot clock.
Oh, shot clock.
And just so you know, what do you think the final score of this game was? Because they had an NBA record low 55 points in that game.
Okay.
What do you think the final score of that game was? Pacers 55, Spurs.
I'm going to guess 83-55.
Okay.
88.
It was 74-55.
Winner, chicken dinner.
No, this is not 1958. This is 1998.
Wow.
Yes.
Who was in it?
Well, Reggie Miller did not play in that game for the Pacers because he was suspended. The Pacers shot 27% in the game. They were 2 for 11 from 3. Think about 2 for 11 from 3 in that game.
So that was the first half, right?
No, that was the entire game. The entire game. I should actually go back to 1997.
Weren't the Kings like 5 of something the other day?
5 of 27.
Yeah,
but they put up 115 points, right? Like the
pace. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Looking at that game real fast too.
Yeah.
To see who was in it for the Spurs would be funny. Let's see. March 29th. 70. You know what's funny though?
What?
The next game, he scored 128 points.
In 98.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. In that game, Tim Duncan was in that game. He had 24 points.
Ooh.
David Robinson had 13. So some interesting names. Jaren Jackson Sr. played in that game for the Spurs.
Oh.
Yep. And for the Pacers in that game, they were led in scoring by Chris Mullen, who dropped 12 points.
I'm guessing he was one of the threes.
Mark Jackson. Yeah, he was. And Mark Jackson hit a 3. And that was it. Yeah, they were 2 for 11. The only guys to hit threes in the game, Mark Jackson and Chris Mullen.
And the only two that scored that night.
That's back when basketball was at its best.
Oh, it's just, you guys don't get it. It was tough. That was defense. You know, it's crazy, though. The very next year, the record was broken. The 98-99 season, the Chicago Bulls, the first season post-Jordan. I'm pulling this game up for fun.
What?
Because this is crazy how far the game has come. So if you go back to April of that year, the Bulls were just an awful team post-Jordan. You have to go back to April 10th, 1999. The Bulls lost 82-49.
What?
I thought there was a 40s. That's why I said 48.
Is that why?
Yeah.
They shot 23% in the game. They did not make a three. They were 0 for 9 from 3 in the game. The leading scorer, I'm going to be honest, never heard of this guy in my life.
Who? I love that you don't know.
I don't. I'm probably saying it wrong. Cornell David.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Play for the Bulls.
I don't know him. I don't remember him. But he had 13 and 10 that day. Tony Kukoc was still on the Bulls at the time. He had 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting. So please tell me the NBA was better way back then.
Yeah, I think sometimes people, well, it was more physical. It was more this. There was actual fights, and it's like, what does that really make a game better? I mean, look at hockey. I mean, what are hockey's ratings, right? And you get a whole bunch of fights. Just go watch hockey then, if that's what you prefer. I like skill. I appreciate technique. Team basketball. You know, it's a team sport. It's what makes this game fun to me.
I do feel like there should be better balance in the NBA. That's how I think about long term, because it's getting to the point now. It's so hard to play defense, and that's why sometimes I'm less concerned about the Kings defense headed into the playoffs. I know they're bad.
Yeah,
I know they're bad, but I know that they do something you need to do in today's league. You need to shoot well. You got to be able to hit threes. You got to move the ball. You got to get buckets. They do that. There's not a lot of teams around the league who can D up. Now, I'll say this, the teams that are likely championship contenders, you go, oh, Milwaukee, they could play some defense. Boston at times.
Real defense.
Inconsistent. But the Warriors, you know.
Well, what I was going to mention about the Warriors, remember last night, watching them again, or the Pelicans and
they
the
locked down when it matters. They locked down, dude.
Both teams got physical last night.
That game was great. They let them play.
I agree.
Let them play.
That's how I felt.
I think that was a great example of a game that had a little playoff intensity to it.
Yeah.
Warriors playing with some desperation where, I mean, they're grabbing each other. They're holding a little bit.
Refs let it happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't get out of control until Draymond allowed himself to get a little out of control. And that's what I love, is that they called the double T's on him and BI after he did that football move on BI. And then he comes down the other end, shows his frustration by, obviously trying to go through. Was that Herb Jones or was that someone else that he was going through? I forget. Or
Trey Murphy?
It might have been Murphy. I think it was Murphy. And so when he tried to go through Murphy and then his feet and everything get all tangled up on his face, and it was like, those were the moments. Okay, it's too far. We're going to call something. We're going to make sure to bring it down here.
Yeah.
But besides that, they allowed GP2 to get into guys. They allowed other people evenly to get into one another.
Yeah, and I think that's where it should be. Last night's game was a great example of that, where you could play physical, but you still saw good individual play. It was still fun offense. Where it didn't muck things up. Where back in the 90s, where early 90s, 80s, when they were like really physical, grabbing, body blows, knocking people down all the time. There's levels to this, right? You don't want to be dangerous. You don't want to make offense go away and have a 50-point game or a 70-point game. You want buckets. But last night, you saw buckets and you saw some good defense.
Remember they showed on ESPN the other day, this day in history, and they had Shaq dunking on Dunleavy? Was that
on Chris Dudley.
Oh, Dudley. Sorry. On Dudley. And he dunked on him and then pushed him down and, extended his arm, pushed him down. They called nothing. Dudley took the ball and tried chucking it back at Shaq. And you look at that whole situation and just things, wanting to get out of control. And that's still going to happen at times, but you just don't see that happen as much. I just want to see guys get physical, get into each other without them calling fouls and calling it even both ways.
I'm with you on that. All right, we got to take a break. We're coming back, and we'll talk some more with you. If you guys want to hit us up today, You can do it on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/SacktownSports1140, or give us a call, 916-339-1140. Let's chat. It's Deuce and Mo on a Clinchmas day in Sacramento.
Happy Cinco de Clincho.
Cinco de Clincho. Just because it's the 5th time? Is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140. What?
So I looked up Cornell David.
I'm sorry?
I looked up Cornell David.
And what'd you find out about him?
He had a 20-year basketball career.
In the NBA?
I don't remember.
Not in the NBA.
Oh.
He was named the Hungarian Jordan.
Oh.
So they lost Jordan. They're like, let's get the Hungarian version.
Yeah.
Like he retired. Let's get the Hungarian version of him. We'll be fine.
So 99 to 2000, played for the Chicago Bulls, 2000 Cavaliers, 2000, 2001 Toronto Raptors, 2001 Detroit Pistons.
It's so weird that I have no memory of him.
I mean, I don't, but I don't have your type of.
He last played for CB Gran Canaria.
I love that team.
Tinkle time.
It's tinkle time.
If you haven't, hit the thumbs up. Where are we at? Thumbs up, boy. 82. Let's get that to 100. Come on.
Did you guys see Shaq on McAfee last week? He was hilarious. No, I did not actually watch that, but I want to now. Scooter talking about the Kings uniforms. I actually like the gray and black uniforms. I'm just not a fan of the purple. Never have been. I love their old colors, powder blue, red, and white. Yeah, I don't have as big of an opinion on uniforms, jerseys, like everyone else does. But there's the few that like stick out to me that when I'm just like, ugh, barf, like Utah Jazz, like the neon. It's and it just says Utah. I'm like,
What's weird is like I like a lot of the throwbacks, which I think a lot of people do now, which like there was something on it. It was like it had a bunch of just stuff going on.
Yeah.
Now it's very simplistic and I just don't like it. It just feels boring.
Wait, which ones? The
jerseys now.
Yeah, no, it's like that whole minimalist simplified thing, like that works for your home interior, your decor, but not on your sports jerseys.
Yeah, give us something that represents it. Give us a capital on the jersey.
A capital?
Yeah, give us the capital on the jersey.
Like
the California Capital.
Would you want that?
Yeah. Let's get New Jerseys.
I love New Jerseys.
I think they're getting New Jerseys.
Who?
Kings? You talking about?
For what? When? Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I think they're gonna change some things up.
Oh,
they're going with like a brown, kind of like Sacramento River color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Not American River color.
That would be bluish brown.
Why does Deuce walk in like a boss? Did I?
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
I've got to go pay. No, that's not the words. Forget my own song, Chris.
Are you going?
No.
Oh.
Just cold.
Oh, what's this Adam Silver song?
God, what? Is it Alaska in here? What happened?
You look like the IKEA monkey.
What is that?
Oh, I got to do an update. I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sacktown Sports headlines. The Kings' magic number is still 1, and they look to clinch their first playoff berth since 2006. The Kings can clinch a spot with a win against the Trailblazers or a loss by either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Clippers. For a preview of tonight's game, check out SacktownSports.com, where Frankie Cardacelli has you all set up. You can listen to tonight's game with game night at 5:30 and tip-off scheduled for 7, right here on Sacktown Sports. Kings rookie Keegan Murray is also looking to make history tonight. Keegan is just 3 3-pointers away from breaking the rookie record for threes made in a season by Donovan Mitchell, set in 2018. It is 12:30. Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. And now more with Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader.
Sacktown Sports.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, you'd see the ridiculous, outfit Morgan's wearing with her standard cream colored jacket. Someone's saying that if that was purple, you'd look like the Beam.
Oh, the human beam.
The Beam's that
Cool? Yes.
thick? Yeah. It just, because your jacket's puffy. Your jacket's puffy.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't be the Beam because
why?
Because you're so thin, and when you turn to the side, no one would even see it.
Hey, it's Deuce Mason and Morgan Ray, and coming up at 1, Anthony Slater from The Athletic will be joining us live, talk some Kings with him. We will be off tomorrow. No show for us tomorrow. Chris Watkins, Kyle Draper will be live from 10 to 2 p.m. here on Sacktown Sports 1140. We'll be getting ready for a Stockton Kings playoff game. We just found out their opponent, so got to do some cramming for that. They take on the Sioux Falls Skyforce, Stockton Kings. If they win tomorrow, they're in the Western Conference Finals, number 1 seed in the West, also best record in the G.
Are you honestly, a little nervous about Skyforce?
Morgan, a couple of things.
No one cares about my man.
Nobody
I don't care.
cares.
I don't
yes,
care.
Of course. They did well against the Kings last time. By the way, that game's on NBA TV.
Oh, you better be watching out there, people. Deuce Mo on the call.
Yeah, or just come out to Stockton, too. See
Or
Bobby
that.
Jackson, Keon Ellis, and Mias Queta.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Yeah. A couple of notes about tonight. The Blazers are sitting everybody, and they've been doing that recently. You want some crazy Blazer stats? In the last 3 games without Jeremy Grant, Dame Lillard, Anthony Simons, and Nurkic,
Oh, God. Okay.
they have scored 99.3 points per game, dead last in the NBA. Their assist numbers are the lowest in the NBA. Their rebounds, 32 rebounds per game in the last 3, lowest in the NBA. Kings are favored by 14 tonight, and they can clinch. Portland does not want to win. How do you feel about what Portland's doing? I hate it. I'm so sick of teams doing it. Stop tanking. It's 2023.
I'm so wait, can they get Wemby? Tanking is so bad. Wait, can they get Wembanyama? The reason why I don't like it the most is I hate seeing that they have Dame Lillard, who's going to turn 33 in July, and is just going to go into another year of what? This? Like, what changes? What you got Matisse Thybulle at the trade deadline, which was good. I mean, it was a good job. But it's not enough.
No, but also giving up Thybulle. I mean, getting Thybulle and losing Josh Hart.
Right. But they couldn't get the most out of Josh Hart.
Why? That's a problem.
And is that Chauncey's fault?
Yeah, I just think where Dame is at, it's a bad spot, and I know he wants to be there. He's loyal to Portland, and they like him. I just don't know what you do with that team. Like, what takes them to the next level? And maybe they believe, hey, re-signing Jeremy Grant, make some other fringe moves on the other end. We get another co-star for Dame too, and we're back in the thick of things in the Western Conference. I think they can make the case, hey, we weren't that far away this year from the play-in, and that's with Dame missing a ton of games. But I just look at where Dame's at right now in his career, and I go, Portland, I don't. You may be forced to move him. He played 58. He played 58 games this year. Last year he played 29. Morgan mentioned it. He's going to be 33 by the time the season starts next year.
Mm-hmm.
He makes $45.6 million next year.
Woof.
48 after that. Then it jumps up to $58 million.
God.
And then he's got a player option for $63.2 million when he is 36 years old.
Okay. Well,
So it makes it challenging to trade him because you gave him that type of extension anyway. He's the greatest player the Blazers have ever had. And I understand. I love Dame. He's one of my favorite players. But I just, in terms of building a competitive team around him, I just don't know how you do that. He hasn't played a lot. He's getting nicked up. He's getting older and he's owed a lot of money, which to me is a bad recipe.
are you to the point where you don't do everything you can to keep a player with those type of contracts now? Because that it seems like track record wise has not worked out well for anyone.
Yeah, but it's where max salaries are headed. And the Kings are in a spot right now where, all of a sudden De'Aaron Fox's deal looks like a steal. What he's making, right? And Sabonis, who knows what his deal can look like? I forget. I mean, taking a deep dive into those.
But he's younger, though. That's that's my point. Like I'm looking at these contracts, like even for Russell Westbrook, or was it? I mean, didn't Bradley Beal do something? Or there's multiple in this league though that you could mention. You can talk about where it's John Wall, where it was just like difficult to move these guys in their contracts and where they were in their career. It's like you're on that verge of like, do we do it? Do we not do it? Look at the track record. You put yourself in a very difficult position depending on what year they are in their lives and in their career.
I think Portland missed a key opportunity to capitalize on his value. And and I'm not saying these are easy things to do, especially with a player of Dame's caliber. When he's played this year, we've seen he had a 70-point game this year.
I love Dame.
So it's just, you're trying to figure out, all right, how do you build around this? How do you compete? And maybe they feel like they can make some moves this year that could do it. I just think now you're seeing the amount of games he's missed, how long he's been there. And you're going, what can we do? What can we do? Or is it worth it to make the tough decision of shipping him off and kind of starting this process that can be painful, and that's rebuilding?
Yeah. And I mean, I would be do you think, I don't like saying this, but do you think Chauncey Billups is the answer?
I mean, I don't think he's shown anything that, I mean, what's wild when you think about the Blazers tonight, think about opening night in Sacramento.
Oh my God.
When Portland won here. And you're going, okay. And they played in the preseason and Portland did not look good. But that first game, like, okay. The Kings started 0-4 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Portland was 10-4.
Yeah.
They were at that point, first 14 games of the NBA season, they had the best record in the Western Conference. And they've had their injuries. Dame's missed time. Simon's missed time. Jeremy Grant's missed time. So they've been banged up too. And I think that's part of it they hold on to. But then I think you really have to be honest with yourself. Like, what was the ceiling of this team this year? Going into it, if healthy, how good could they have been? Maybe they get to 6, maybe. Now they're in a spot where you have this guy who has meant so much to this organization, who's achieved some amazing things, but you're not in a close position to really contend.
No.
And if you are, then you start going to this. All right, we're Portland. We want to contend. We're keeping Dame. We're going to re-sign Jeremy Grant. How do we get better? All right, Shane Sharp, you could be a star in the future. We're going to trade you and package you. Like,
whoa.
And then you add another one to the mix. But what does that make you? And I don't know. Maybe that's just what it is. They're going to do everything they can to build around Dame. I don't know. It seems like a really tough bet to make based on what they've done the last couple of years.
Yeah. And I think if you are going to, though, make that bet around and try and keep building and doing what you can around Dame, at least you have a superstar player that has the right mentality, that has the attitude that you would want your superstar to have, that is willing to be a team player on and off the floor. Like he has that ability to still lead, and he is a good person. So at least you got that part going for you. But man, you got to make it right for him because you don't want him to start getting unhappy.
In the chat, Nick says, is Dame out tonight yet? They shut down Dame for the rest of the season. Portland is going to be extremely shorthanded. We'll talk more about that game, and coming up at 1 p.m., our buddy Anthony Slater from The Athletic will join us. We'll get his perspective on the Kings. And he was in San Francisco last night watching the Warriors come back. What would he think about a Warriors-Kings series? We'll do that and much more. It's Deuce Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140.
I sent you a picture of the IKEA monkey.
Oh, let me see.
I can't believe you don't remember that.
Yeah, okay. Oh my God, so cute. If I look like that cute little monkey, then I'm golden. Little sweater on.
What if the Blazers just go out there and say, like, hey, guys, we don't want to win. You guys want to win. We'll just forfeit right now.
That would be also depressing. It's like
they just lay down like who was that? Was that Kevin Nash?
Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, Jeff Jarrett.
You see, there's kind of, I guess there was kind of two of them.
Yeah, Kevin Nash did.
Kevin Nash was the finger poke of doom.
Yeah, WCW booking. Oh my God, how bad.
Wait, was the Jeff Jarrett thing like part of the script, or did he just do it to be?
It was part of the script.
Oh, okay.
He walked down, laid down in a match. 1, 2, 3.
And who pinned him down?
Hulk Hogan.
Hogan, a pissed off Hogan.
That's why the business is going the way it is.
Was he not happy about that? That match, that storyline?
Yes, the idea was so like him going and laying down was like an FU to Hogan, because like the idea is like, hey, I should win, and then finally they're just like, okay, screw it, yeah, you'll win. He's just gonna go down there and lay down for you.
Whoa, drama.
Oh my God, Shane Sharp is laying down on the floor right now. What are we doing here?
Oh my God. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
I think there's going to be a heavy Kings presence at that game tonight.
Oh, my brother's going to be there, Jesse.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Tickets were like $5 to go see that game. It's not that far away. I still kind of want to go.
Angie's going to be there for the Friday game.
Oh, imagine going Friday. And it's already clinched. The Kings are starting Matthew Dellavedova against
Damn, Deuce.
G'day.
I think
G'day.
if you do clinch tonight, I'm sorry, when they clinch tonight, I think you rest guys Friday.
That's fine. It's against the Blazers. I'd be fine with that. I accept. Adam Silver had some chit-chatting today.
Yeah, he was saying that Adam Silver is thinking that they could be closing in on a new collective bargaining agreement, which would be great because that means we can avoid a lockout, and lockouts suck.
Does Keegan reach 190 tonight?
190 points. I think there's a chance he could score 190 points in this game against Portland.
If he takes every shot, I think he could.
Yeah, he's gonna break the record. He had some tough misses.
Deja vu.
Like in and out.
Deja vu, guys. How about if he breaks the record, he breaks the record.
And he's 3 away from breaking.
He was 4 away the other night.
I just, sometimes with you're just like the most annoying fan. Like, part of being a fan too is belief.
Yeah.
And in your life, in your actual life, I believe I can do anything. And I'd be like, yeah, you're going to be an astronaut.
This is true.
And you're like, well, if you put your mind to it, you could still be an astronaut. And I go, Morgan, if I today went, I am stopping everything. I'm done doing this show. I'm done podcasting.
And I want to be an astronaut.
I'm going to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
I could not do it.
Yes, you could.
It's too late.
No,
it's not too late. You just wouldn't get up there until you're 80, but you could do it. That's true.
But just so you know,
50 years, that's true.
But
how
Keegan
many
breaking the record tonight?
Astronauts are there?
Doesn't matter. Well, it will be a different time. Keegan Murray, he could break it, but he might not.
I could tell that Morgan had such great parents.
I did.
And I had me.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports.
Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. Ben Simmons shut down for the season. We mentioned that yesterday. yesterday I was doing a little deep dive. Sometimes when things like that happen, it triggers something, and I go, remember when?
What did you deep dive?
Well, because people want to pull receipts all the time. Especially when it comes to the Kings.
Okay.
Oh, let me just tell you, there were a lot of people, media, fans, going trade Fox for Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just imagine what that would look like. And I remember a Deuce Mason time going, yeah, but could you imagine Fox with Embiid in a winning environment, what that would look like?
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. That would be awful.
People legitimately were spending time like, there was a conversation about, do you think that the Sixers would take Fox for Simmons?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that was so bad.
Just imagine if that would have happened.
That would have been awful for the Kings, amazing for the Sixers. Just so glad that was not even a real narrative out there.
I think people are pushing it
in Sacramento. Desperate people.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I do feel bad for Ben Simmons, and I just hope that he can get to a point where he can be productive on the floor. But that was just crazy, the amount. And you just think about if the Kings would have made a deal like that, what that would have looked like.
There just would be one less person on the floor. You know what I mean? Truly, like, that's the saddest part about Ben Simmons and his journey right now is that, like, no one's even like, oh, this is what he is as a player. He's not playing. He's done for the rest of the season again due to health, but it's health or it's his ability to stay on the floor because of his mental health. And it's really hard.
If he got bought out by the Nets, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but if he got bought out, I would definitely take a flyer on him for sure. But it's just,
you think Mike Brown could do something with it? Yeah, that's fine.
If his health is fine.
Yeah, and
he needs some confidence again.
Low risk kind of situation for him. Yeah, I think a lot of teams would be in that scenario with him if it was just low risk. But yeah, I doubt that's going to happen.
He would really have to ask himself, what could Brown do for you?
What is that?
What do you mean? What is that?
What can Brown do for? Is that a commercial?
Yeah, are you serious?
This came off the top of my head,
dude.
What is it?
UPS.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Needed a reminder. What can Brown do for you?
With the Kings getting ready to clinch tonight, Morgan.
Yeah.
What player in that locker room is going to be most emotional? Mike Brown told a story before last game that was really cool. We should actually play that.
Well, I can tell it. Unless you have it.
I could pull it up. Maybe.
Okay.
Sean Cunningham tweeted it out. It was before last game. And Mike Brown was talking about the emotions that are coming with clinching a playoff spot, right? It's the fans feel it a lot. And Mike was just suggesting that, hey, like, we should kind of embrace this a little more, understanding we have bigger goals. And I did find it.
Hell yeah.
Can I play stuff from here, Chris?
Cool. Thumbs up.
Can? All right. This is Mike Brown talking the other night
on there.
And it was really cool to hear what he had to say about what this could mean to people, including people who have been with the organization for a long time.
Particular De'Aaron, Rashawn, HB, who have been here and kind of gone through some of that pain and frustration, a lot of that pain and frustration. What are you feeling for them to get to this point where they can do this for themselves, for the team, for the city?
Yeah, you're excited. I mean, I am excited, not just for those guys. Shoot, I'm excited for ownership. Vivek's been a great guy to work with in my short time being here. I'm excited for Matina. I'm excited for JR. On down the line, everybody in the organization. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. So sorry, Miguel, wherever you are. Miguel's our equipment guy, and after our last game, I'm in my office waiting to do the media, and Wes Wilcox walks in, and Wes goes, hey, and Wes had a serious look on his face. He goes, hey, I just want to tell you that Miguel was in the tunnel and he was crying. And literally the first, I'm like, is his wife okay? Is his kid, what, I'm like panicking, thinking something's wrong with somebody in his family. And he goes, no, everything's fine. He's just been here so long, and to see this really touched him. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, okay. I respect that. Okay, good. But so it hits different people, especially the people that have been here, in different ways that emotionally I can only wrap my brain around so much. You could call it fortunate, blessed, lucky, but to be a part of as many playoff runs as I've been, in thinking big picture, I want to celebrate this because the organization deserves it. All those people that I mentioned, and Foxy and HB, all deserve it. More importantly, everybody in this flipping city deserves it because they're hard working people that spend their money on this team, and they've been supporting this team from back in the day. And you appreciate that, and you want people to be able to celebrate it and enjoy it. And I hope that I'm doing it the right way and coming across the right way. I'm excited for everybody, and I just don't. I don't want our group, and I don't want people to lose sight, and I don't think they will, because I think I said it enough of what our goal is, and it's just like everybody else that's in our position right now.
I love hearing that from Mike Brown, because obviously he wants everyone to understand, hey, this is an accomplishment, but we got a long way to go. Just getting the playoffs isn't good enough. But that story he told about Miguel Lopez, who has been with the team for a long time as the equipment manager, how he was tearing up in the tunnel after a game, not when they clinched, after they beat the Utah Jazz the other night, because he's never been through something like that. All he's experienced is losing. He's the equipment. He's got to get everything ready to go. And like he has to. So he's around these guys when they're down and depressed at loss after loss, dysfunction, different coaches, and for him to feel that hit me.
Because Mike Brown makes everyone feel like they're part of the team. I mean, how many times, Deuce, have you and I watched post game in the locker room, Deepog chain getting passed out to whatever player, and we feel like we're a part of that team? The fact that we feel like that, and we're very much not a part of this team like that, is you can only imagine what the people that are there every single day feel like. And when he told that story, it absolutely makes sense. And it's just wild what a sports team can do for a city.
So when it comes to the guys in the locker room, Fox has been here the longest.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes is up there. Rashawn Holmes is up there. Who do you think maybe within the locker room feels it the most tonight?
I would probably say De'Aaron. Even if
TD in the chat gets a mention because of how emotional he is in general.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's De'Aaron.
Yeah, I do. And I don't even think it's just because of what this team hasn't been able to accomplish so long. I think for him in his career, the high expectations, being drafted 5th, and also it not being until his 6th season in the league that he took off and is also getting the respect that he deserves. And not to say he didn't deserve respect before, but it's like, no, he's earned it more in every single way possible, on the defensive end, on the offensive end, as a team player, as a leader, as a star in this league. He took that jump in all those categories this season. I think that's what's going to really make him feel it the most too. And that validates it.
And what's cool with him, I do think he's similar to Mike Brown in this way. I think he's appreciating the moments.
Yeah.
But I think he's like, no, we have bigger things.
Yeah.
If they want to reach 50 wins, that's been the one consistent message. It's no, we want to get to 50 wins. That's important to this group to try to get to that mark. So it's cool that I think that this team has a good understanding of what this moment means for the fans, the city, what ending this drought does, even though no one has been on this entire ride, right? Fox has been here the longest, but just to end it, there's significance while also understanding there's ways to go. I've gotten in this thing with on social media where someone's like, you're going to celebrate a playoff spot.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And it doesn't mean you have to be satisfied either.
We're not a player either.
No, but even so, I can enjoy this moment today, and I'm going to enjoy this moment.
Absolutely.
I am going to embrace it because this is what we've been waiting for forever, while still acknowledging that, I'm not satisfied. I want to win more.
Yep.
Winning is fun.
But it's you have to get there to celebrate it. It's we're not in a position to be act like you belong. No, because we haven't been a part of it. We haven't belonged in so long that we're never going to feel this come up moment again. And that's why when people say like, oh, appreciate all the little things in life, it's a little thing. It's a little thing, but it's huge in so many different ways.
Getting me emotional thinking about it.
I know. I'm excited.
Coming up next, let's welcome in Anthony Slater to the show. He's going to be joining us. He's from The Athletic. Well, how does he feel about a potential Kings Warriors series? We'll talk to him coming up next. It's Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports, 1140 sacktownsports.com. Chris, can you send me the link to, unless Morgan has it. Does Morgan have it? Do you have a link?
I'm sorry?
Can you send me the StreamYard link for Anthony? Thank you. YouTube chat. Let's see the poll question. Kings clinch tonight, Morgan. Here are the options. Oh, hell yes. Duh. And Merry Clinchmas. Those are the three options.
I was laughing earlier 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago, whatever. I saw it. That's funny.
Cinco de Clincho.
Yeah, that wasn't an option, and that is the one that I'm choosing, actually. So, bye. Let's see.
And I sent you that link.
Cool. Let me see. It's like, where is it, Deuce? I did not get it yet. It might take a second. What happened? Derp! Derp!
Merry Clinchmas to you. Merry Clinchmas to you. That's happy birthday?
Yeah, it
okay,
is.
I
It
was
is.
like, why?
Like, that's not a Christmas song, believe it or not.
I could not, for the life of me, figure out what that tune was. Oh, well, it's a big show.
Anthony Slater is coming up next.
I love Anthony Slater.
Let's read some comments. Let's see here. Someone is chopping onions around here with us talking about that.
Oh,
Steven says he's definitely going to shed some tears tonight. It's happening. Well, is the Wi-Fi down in here? I mean, can you text
it or something? Maybe send it to your phone and then.
Ben says, is it okay to cry tonight? 100% it's okay to cry. It's always okay to cry.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if that works.
Okay.
Wish they opened out the outdoors to Golden One. Yeah, it's raining today. Let's see. I got it, Chris. Let me send it. Anthony Slater. Oops. Here's the link for today. I guess I could text it to him too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Hopefully he remembers.
Good job, everybody.
Gerardo, Deuce, can I cry with you? Dude, you guys, we can cry together, man. I'll probably be tearing up a little bit. I would have been way more emotional at the arena. So.
Yeah. I feel you. I definitely would have, but I still feel it. Just feels different.
You don't know how it feels yet.
So okay.
Shut your mouth.
Sacktown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sacktown Sports headlines. Kings' magic number is still 1, and they look to clinch their first playoff berth since 2006. The Kings can clinch a spot with a win against the Trailblazers or a loss from either the Timberwolves or Los Angeles Clippers. For more on tonight's Kings-Blazers game, check out our Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli's preview on SacktownSports.com. You can listen to tonight's game with Game Night at 5:30 and tip-out scheduled for 7 right here on Sacktown Sports. Kings rookie Keegan Murray is also looking to make history tonight. Keegan is just 3 3-pointers away from breaking the rookie record for threes made in a season by Donovan Mitchell, set in 2018. Those are your headlines. Now more with Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, Deuce Mason, Morgan, Reagan. Tonight gonna be the night we're celebrating in Sacramento. Morgan.
Ooh.
Kings and Blazers. Kings win tonight. They clinch. There's some other combinations that could happen that could help the Kings, but I'm not focused on that because the Blazers are playing, a couple of season ticket holders are playing for them tonight. I think their mascot Blaze may play.
Is it named Blaze?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
None of this is true. And this is
No, the mascot's name is definitely Blaze.
okay, well that part is true.
Blaze
but,
the Trail Cat is his name.
But the Portland Trailblazers still have guys on the roster that will be playing tonight. And we've seen this King squad, not this one specifically, actually, I guess. We've seen the Kings, we've seen teams in the NBA fold even against really weird situations. And I mean, we talked about that earlier in the show, and the Kings have only won 20 games.
Why are you bringing up their overall record that I brought up at the start of the show to bury it? Yes, the Kings have played 110 games in Portland over the years. They are 20-90 overall.
There we go.
They're 20-90 over. Yes, 70 games below 500 against the Blazers in Portland.
This is why I'm just not coming into the building today being like, oh, yeah, they've got the win. They've got the win. I expect them to win. But I mean, like, everyone was feeling that on Monday against the T-Wolves. It was just too much for me. It was too much.
So, Morgan, can you just stop being the wet blanket today? You're the wet blanket.
How is that a wet blanket? You told me that I was like a coach.
Don't get too excited. You're
like,
get
wow.
too excited. You know, you never know. I know anything can happen in the NBA, but going into tonight, you should feel very confident that the Kings are going to win.
I just said I expect them to win.
But say it with your chest.
I expect them to win.
That's how you say it with your chest, really.
How do you say it with your chest?
I'm going to look at me right now.
You're going to look at you?
You asked for this.
What?
I asked for
Morgan
this.
asked for this.
Yeah. Anthony Slater is supposed to be with us soon. He might have forgotten. It's okay. He's on. Okay. Well, he's going to hear me say that. The Blazers are sitting most of their roster tonight. The Kings are 14-point favorites on the road. They need one win to clinch a top 4 spot. There is no chance in hell they're losing this game tonight. The Kings clinch tonight. Expect it. It's okay. That's how you say it with your chest.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's bring in a guy we love. He is one of the best basketball writers on the planet.
Yes, he is.
From The Athletic, the one and only Anthony Slater. What's up, man?
I also think Memphis is going to win early, so I don't even think the Portland clinch will be needed. I think you may know by second quarter, first quarter, whatever the timing will be.
Look at that.
Wow. Okay, Slater.
Man.
I mean, that's a no Paul George Clippers team going into Memphis, who's won, I think, 7 in a row. They're playing really well, by the way. That 2 seed felt up for grabs for a while for the Kings. It does no longer seems up for grabs.
Yeah, the John Morant, we thought maybe he would be gone longer. And then even without him, they found a way to kind of get through it. That was impressive, especially without Steven Adams, too. Brandon Clark being out. Yeah, I've been really impressed with their ability to hang on to that number 2 spot, no doubt. Anthony, yeah, the Kings getting ready to clinch a playoff spot. It's kind of crazy to think that they're in a position now to secure home court advantage throughout the playoffs, or not through the playoffs, through the first round. What was the biggest surprise of this Kings season in your mind?
I mean, just the historic level of the offense. It's they're still first right now, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically best offense ever. I know the numbers are a little juiced. It's kind of the steroid era for all stats right now. But just, when you mapped out how they could make the playoffs, it was like, all right, can Mike Brown pull them out of the bottom 20 and maybe have them like 19th, 18th in defense? And can the offense be top 10? And when you were saying top 10, you were thinking like 8, 9, right? That was really good. You built a nice, offense around the Fox Sabonis pick and roll. I did not think like number 1 in the league, like better than the Jokic Nuggets right now, better than all the other teams. So that to me has to be the surprise, right?
Yeah, I would say that part is super surprising, but I think one of the other surprises to me is how well this team is showing, oh, hey, an offense can also lead you to this much success, because not seeing much of a defense out there, I guess when you really look at the numbers and you break down the analytics, it's like where this team is, it's not good defensively, but there's moments out there where you go, okay, I get why this can get them by and why it can create some of their offense. But I would say that the fact that their defense has still where it is has allowed them to be the number 3 seed in the Western Conference has also been a surprise. What about for you?
Yeah, I think maybe the biggest surprise is that Mike Brown's the guy on the sidelines, like having to captain this type of ship, because we all know who Mike Brown is at his core. Go back to his Cleveland days, right? He's like, bloodying up games against the Pistons 92-87. Like that's how he wants to win a playoff game. And I think it's good for the team. I mean, you could hear it in all of his post-game press conferences. That's still like he's still warning them, like, hey, come first round, there's probably going to be a game you have to win 101-97, right? You have to win on the defensive end. And I do think post All-Star break, there have been nice little peeks into that ability by them. Obviously, he keeps trying Kessler Edwards. That's kind of been an interesting experiment because he's searching for somebody to defend on the wing. But also, what was that Brooklyn game? They gave up like no second chance points, no transition points.
They ended up giving like one fast break point or 2 fast break points technically at the very end of the game. But yeah, no second chance and only 2 fast break points, and it happened at the very end of the game.
I have not talked to Mike Brown about this, but I bet that's his favorite game this season. Like that's the formula. Especially, in Minnesota, especially after coming in, winning the other night. I mean, feeling really good about the matchup. Like, might be the first round matchup, and you're gonna that's gonna be more of a game that's kind of dragged into the mud a little bit, and the big question will be like, can they win those style of games?
Yeah, you brought up Kessler Edwards too, and there have been moments I like what he can bring, but yeah, he is still searching, and I don't know how concerning that should be for the playoffs when you're trying Kessler Edwards. Last game, out of nowhere, we see Alex Len, and it kind of goes to show you how they have felt all season long about that backup 5 spot. We've seen Metu, we've seen brief glimpses of Rashawn Holmes, and then Alex Len played the most minutes he has played since starting a game against Denver when Sabonis was out. How big of a concern is that he's still kind of searching at this point?
I mean, it's not that rare. Let's go back to the Warriors playoff run last year. Like Damian Lee is playing game 1 against Dallas, and then Moses Moody's making an appearance in game 2 because Lee struggled. And Jonathan Kuminga, people probably don't remember, started in the Memphis series 2 games for the Warriors last year. Did not play well in either of the games, was pulled quick, probably got like 12 minutes both the games, but they were experimenting. That's what high-level coaching is, especially from a matchup-based standpoint. I think part of what Mike Brown was doing the other day, they might play Minnesota in the first round, like who works, who doesn't. You will often see in playoff series the first couple games, particularly game 1 is a feel out process. Game 2, typically whoever lost game 1 has a counter punch and adjustments. And by about game 3, game 4, the rotations are trimmed down to about 8 and they're settled. Who works, who doesn't in a particular matchup. So, I mean, the fact that he's experimenting late in the season, like just get ready because he's going to be experimenting in game 1, game 2, game 3 of some of these series.
I'm glad Anthony broke that down because, some of the stuff you were saying, I'm going, oh, yeah, we haven't had to deal with this in a long time in Sacramento. Usually we're just watching games for fun. Yeah, there's actually different levels of coaching come playoff time. We haven't felt this in almost 17 years, Anthony.
Yeah, and that is where I think Mike Brown will help.
Yeah.
He was go to the West Finals last year, what they did defensively, and that was Mike Brown, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr kind of brain trust there against Luka won them the West Finals easily. They really switched up the defense. I can remember that entire series, Mike Brown, running out mid possession with double fists up in the air because he's going to the zone defense, or they were doing box and one, and it felt defensive coordinator middle linebacker-y with Draymond Green. I don't know who the middle linebacker on the Kings would be. But it's not only a different level of coaching, but it is where the Warriors have really excelled in the Steve Kerr era, and most of the Steve Kerr era has included Mike Brown, which is playoff schemes. They have never lost a Western Conference playoff series, 18-0 or 16-0, I think it is, in the West playoffs, and a lot of that is just because when they get in a chess match, they have typically solved it before the other team.
Which I'm just so glad that they don't have Mike Brown going into this postseason, because obviously we're looking at a scenario that the Kings and the Warriors could take on one another, right? And watching that game last night, I mean, obviously you were at the Minnesota Kings game, and then watching that game last night, we're all rooting for Pelicans to get the win so then the Kings can clinch a spot last night. But that Warriors team, 2 different teams playing out there in that first half and then that second half. And when they play like they did in that second half last night, Slater, I, as a Kings fan, get very nervous about what it could look like in the postseason for the Sacramento Kings. Do you think that's just a glimpse at the Warriors and what they take their game to in a postseason?
Yeah, I mean, look, that was Draymond Green just raising the emotional level of the team and the focus level and challenging a younger Pelicans team to answer that. And they didn't. And that is what he would do in a series with the Kings. He would roar around the court, pick up a technical in game 1, emotionally challenge Domantas Sabonis, get the entire Golden One Center booing him, and see how the Kings would respond. And there will be a statistic going into that series if it did materialize of playoff games played on one side, playoff games played on the other side. And the Kings playoff experience includes Mike Brown, who was an assistant coach for the Warriors, and Harrison Barnes, who was the 5th best player on a Warriors team. And that is basically almost the entire extent of their playoff experience. So that does matter. Now, the Kings have had a better season. There's reason to believe the Kings should be able to score very well against the Warriors. The Warriors have not been able to win on the road, and it's obviously would be a tough environment that they're walking into. But I think if you are being just calculated, strategic from a Kings perspective, you should not want to play the Warriors in the first round. I mean, and that's not a Kings thing. That's the Nuggets should not want the Warriors coming out of the 8. The Grizzlies, outwardly probably would say they do want the Warriors coming out of the 7, but is that really who they want to play in the first round? Because they've proven who they are. This might be the end, but do you want to test that in round 1? Would you rather try to test that in round 2, round 3?
Yeah. And it's interesting because watching the Warriors this year it's been bizarre, right? Steph being out, Wiggins still gone. And you're like, this team doesn't have it, man. I watched them last night in that second half, and I went, I know it's a Pelicans team that gets kind of shorthanded, but it's a Pelicans team that won 5 in a row and they were up by 20. And what they did defensively against Brandon Ingram, I mean, they were into him from GP2 to Kuminga to Draymond. And I was like, wow, they raised it a little bit here. And I know they're a bad road team during the regular season, but I think it's just based on their track record a little bit that you go, I don't know how big of a factor that would be for them in the playoffs.
They're currently on an NBA record streak of, I think it's 26 straight playoff series they've won a road game. They've gone into the other team. It's an NBA record and it's ongoing. The last one they won was obviously Game 6 in Boston, which was how many months ago at this point? 9 months ago, calendar year. They beat the Celtics in Boston. And I'm telling you, that was an insane crowd. Having been there, that was like top 3 playoff crowd I've ever been in. I've seen them win there. I've seen them going to Oklahoma City in the prime of the Durant Westbrook era and like stick a dagger in that franchise's heart and then go and steal away their best player. So yeah, I mean, like we could sit here and talk about how bad they've been this year in many ways, and the fact that they're starting small forward is not with the team right now, which is a major factor from a tactical standpoint, but they have something in their DNA that should spook anybody.
Yeah,
I agree. I want to go back to last night because watching the game, and I'm not like you've been around the Warriors for a long time. You have a good feel for the emotions and what they've been through and all the dynamics. I thought the Draymond stuff at the end of that first half was not a good thing at the time.
It felt selfish.
It felt like even like some of the guys may have been a little irritated, and I don't know if that was the case. Like that was actually not a great moment, and it was what happened at halftime that changed the thing. How do you feel about that at the moment? Because it felt like Draymond, it was almost a distraction. Like it felt like he was super hot, that maybe it was taking away and compounding the mistakes. The Pelicans finished okay in that second quarter. It was what happened in the third quarter that I felt like changed the game. What was your viewpoint of all that?
It was risky, I would say, because at any point during that entire, prolonged situation, one of the referees, Ed Malloy, or one of the other guys could have just been like, second tee, that's enough. You're out of here. He gets ejected. He's suspended the next game because that would have been his 18th technical. And they probably would, he's a plus 26. He was awesome in the second half. They don't win that game if he's ejected. So that spirals to a point that might be like the final nail in their season. If like I said, if just one referee decides that he wants to give a second technical, that doesn't happen. I do think a lot of the second half was the emotional lift he did give them. I know that, right when it happened, there was a little bit of a Pelicans run, but he juiced up a team that needed to be juiced up. And he was yelling the entire second half. I know there wasn't maybe the memorable scuffle, but he was going after coaches. He was ripping one of the back of the bench assistants, like scolding him. He obviously had to have Bob Myers come down to cool him down at one point, yelling at the Pelicans bench. And it woke him up. And it could have gone the wrong way. It has gone the wrong way several times in Draymond Green's life and career, but it's also gone the right way a bunch. And it worked last night. It was a risky tactic, but it paid off.
God, I mean, even I was annoyed, but like I was annoyed because I just appreciate good basketball, and I appreciate when people aren't being selfish, and I just felt like, oh, it's about him right now. It's about him. But you're right. I mean, whatever, he got credit after the game too from other players, from
Steve Kerr,
yeah. About being that emotional leader. And sometimes like they've been in it together long enough, so they must just understand each other.
I would just say, like, I was in the arena last night. I know it was like kind of a big game from a stake standpoint, but the arena was a little bit dead. You kind of feel that they don't have it this season, and you're wondering. And I think there were some players, I think, wondering, like, gosh, man, like, this thing might be dying right now. And then suddenly he goes berserk and the arena is lit up. Like, people are standing on their feet at the end of the second quarter, and he just completely changed the entire mood of the situation. And suddenly it was like, oh, they're taking the game serious.
Wow.
And they were taking you saw it in the second half. That was a team that suddenly decided to take the game very serious. And that was in a lot of ways because Draymond just jolted them awake. I mean, even if it was done in a selfish way, like, is what happened.
And especially after that loss against Minnesota on their home floor, obviously what happened there at the end with everyone choking. And and it stunk again for the Sacramento Kings because the Pelicans didn't get the win. The Kings didn't get to clinch, but they get a chance tonight. And I mean, Anthony, you've now have covered this team more and more closely this season. The Portland Trailblazers, like we've already talked about, don't really have anyone. It's going to be tonight, right?
Drew Eubanks scoring 39 tonight. Watford's going to, I don't know. I mean, if it's not tonight, then I might start to be like, what's happening here?
Dude,
but
Anthony, their all-time record in Portland is kind of insane. They played 110 games. They are 20-90 all time.
That's horrendous.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I don't even think they'd need to win tonight, as I said earlier. I think all three results, they only need one of the three. I think I would probably guess that they'd get all three tonight.
Okay.
And even if they didn't, there's still several days ahead. They already ruined it. It should have been at home. We all know that. I will have a story dropping once they clinch it tonight where I, during the third quarter, went down and sat with Brad Miller for about 10 minutes. And because he's sitting third row and he's the starting center of the last team and he's having a good time. He's a huge Kings fan now.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, hey, you want me to talk to you post game? And he was like, no, post game is going to be too fun. I'm going to be, I'm going to be having too good of a time. I don't want to sit there for a 10-minute interview. I'm like, I get that. This is about to be a party. So let's talk now, and then go have your good time. And then by the fourth quarter, I think he was out of his seat probably with 2 minutes left, like half the arena was. So to me, they already ruined that moment, but it's not really going to matter because they're going to get a game one at home. So
there were so many jinxes that night. Come on now. Slater interviewing Brad Miller in the third quarter about celebrating.
No such thing as jinxes. I want to ask you about that game. I walked away because I know a lot of people got nervous after the way Minnesota won. I went, you know what? The Kings were 5 of 27 from three. And I know they didn't get as many threes as maybe they wanted up, but they missed some open looks. I went back and watched, and then the numbers back it up. 21 of the 27 threes that they attempted were either wide open or open. The defense was not good. It hasn't been good all year. They lost a close game, and I didn't think they were really good in that game.
Yeah, look, it was kind of an outlier shooting performance, but those happen in the playoffs, and it's about trying to win. Again, that's when I say you got to win a game 101-97 and in a huge swing game 3, that includes you got to be able to win a game that you shoot 20% from 3. And that is, to me, the bigger picture concern of are they a title contender or not, right? Are they a true threat to make a long, deep run in the playoffs? And the skepticism would come on the defensive end, and the fact that they do kind of rely on prettier offensive numbers that at times when the playoff game changes, and this is stuff their coaching staff knows and is trying to adjust to. But when you start to be able to hold guys off ball more, when veteran coaching staffs and teams are able to scout all the Domantas Sabonis, handoff action, see it in game 1, decide how they want to, attack it in game 2, maybe spring some doubles, and their offense is going to be held down on certain nights, and it's can they win those type of games? And I'm not saying that Minnesota game was some indicator that, oh no, they can't, but everything is just like if we talk about the Warriors, every game feels like a bullet point, that a check-in point of what do we really think about this team? And yeah, I'd say their last week has not been entirely encouraging, but their 10 games post All-Star break were extremely encouraging. So I still feel decent about them. I am curious what the matchup they get is. I do think that'll matter for them.
Yep.
Avoid the Warriors.
Everyone else.
No.
What's the ideal six? That's realistic. You can't go Blazers. Shoot up.
No, I mean, I was before Dallas collapsed. I was all about bringing out Dallas, take care of them easy. I don't know if there's an ideal matchup, to be honest.
Minnesota's been tough for them. Like at their length alone, they struggle with length in so many different ways. But
they had 60 points in the paint on Minnesota and had 40 free throw attempts. And oh, by the way, Anthony, call me crazy.
You're crazy.
We have not seen the Kings play Minnesota with Cat, and I think Cat changes things for them. I don't know if it's for a good reason either. I think it makes things a little more complicated for Ant to do his thing. I think defensively there are more challenges. I actually think they're a better team without Cat. That's my hot take of the day.
I think it's a complicated mix. They got so many centers now, right? It's like him, Gobert, and Naz Reid, who kind of needs to play.
He needs to play.
Yeah. I think Minnesota, or the matchup I'm looking at as a possibility that I don't think a lot of people. Clippers could fall.
I know.
Have two straight in Memphis right now. I don't know when you're going to see Paul George again. Not in the regular season. Is he going to be ready for Game 1 in the playoffs? I don't know. It was a pretty scary looking knee injury. If the Warriors have the Spurs coming up, they have Portland to end the season. They got some winnable games. They could leap the Clippers. Honestly, the Timberwolves could too, and maybe the Clippers are down in the play-in. But that is a team that I think is very much a possibility at 6. Those have been fun games this season, and the possibility of no Paul George, that might be the most appealing matchup to the Kings.
I get scared of Kawhi. I get a little. I'm not nervous about Ty Lue. I just think we have talked about, his in-game adjustments and what he's been able to do, and then what is he doing in a postseason as a head coach compared to Mike Brown. We've seen some of Mike Brown's mistakes as of late too, just even sometimes going more for the offense rather than going for guys that can lock down.
When
guys.
you say mistakes, are we what we believe?
There we go.
Do. And we know what the hell we're talking about. We're like, hey, you should play some more Terrence Davis. Like, we know what we're talking about.
We're allowed to criticize a little bit. Come on.
I know. I bring it all on. By the way, Anthony, Morgan would be nervous no matter the matchup.
So what?
You could be like, hey, Portland
that's
somehow
what
getting
playoff
in.
basketball's about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's also what game one's about, because you think you know what a matchup's going to be, and then it's laid out in front of you, and it might be entirely different. It's, as you were talking about earlier, like, welcome back. When was? How old were you the last time? You don't have to answer that, but it's.
How old do you think I was back then, Anthony?
Great question.
Now you've pinned me.
Yeah, it's okay. You think I'm going to be offended? I'm not going to get offended by it. I'm just curious what you think. Yeah, guess how old I was the last time the Kings made the playoffs. Serious.
I will pivot off that question by saying I actually, because of this story I'm doing, I watched the last Kings series with the Kevin Martin game winner, and I saw a little 8-year-old Deuce Mason in the crowd. No,
I was actually a senior in high school. He
just looked like he was 8 years old.
Were you out at Arco in that series?
I was at the last playoff game. Game 6.
They got blown out, right?
Yeah, there was some hope. This force of Game 7. That was actually a sneaky fun Kings team because they were a mess early in the year. They trade Peja for Ron Artest. What a gamble. And they kind of had that toughness. They had Ron Artest. Bonzi Wells was a beast in that series.
Bonzi Wells was the star of Game 4. I was reading about it.
Yeah. That was a fun series, but at the end, you knew it was the end of Rick Adelman there. It was definitely a bittersweet moment. I definitely did not go, oh, well, it's going to be 17 years before we get back here. But hey, here we are. So,
but we made it through.
We made it.
We made it through.
Unless they struggled twice in Portland this week.
Come on, Slater. What? Come on.
Don't even go there, Anthony Slater.
Any given Sunday.
Well, we look forward to your piece that's going to come out tonight if they clinch.
I was going to say that ain't up to me.
Oh, wow.
Well, hopefully soon we get a new Kings piece from Anthony Slater. He crushes it.
It'll be up when they clinch, but
Okay, it's happening tonight. I'm telling you tonight,
it.
Anthony Slater has a brand new piece you're going to want to read when the Kings clinch tonight. Anthony
Dan Amick is writing a column too. I should promote that. So I think you're getting 2 Kings pieces. Only
when
they actually make the playoffs.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're ready.
I can't wait for him. Anthony, thanks so much for joining us, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see y'all.
Hell yeah, that's the one and only Anthony Slater. We get Slater and Amick pieces,
dude,
dropping tonight.
Is it Clinchmas?
Merry Clinchmas! Oh! All right, coming up next, got a little story time with Chris Verloud, baby. Yay. It's Deuce Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140, SacktownSports.com.
I'm skipping the update because we're way behind.
Do what you got to do. Whatever works best. Oh, wait, let me ask. Also, it can be over video. Obviously. Okay. What am I doing? I'm trying to book shows for next week. What am I doing? Just trying to book shows for next week. Because why? Because you have to do it all. And if you don't, someone's going to yell at you. And if you get yelled at, it's not a good thing. Hey. ESPN Full Court Press. Oh. Tonight there's a lot of coverage. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. I love it. They have a woman on each of the broadcasts. Sexist Doug would like that.
Oh, did you see what I sent about him on your guys' text?
Yes. Yeah. I saw that after I saw the IKEA monkey. If Shaden Sharp ends our clinch miss, we shouldn't be in the playoffs. Correct. Not just Shaden Sharp. If this roster that the Kings are going up against tonight. Morgan, can you tell me the date and time for the Stockton Kings playoff game again, please? Sorry, I missed it. No worries. It's going to be tomorrow, Thursday, March 30th, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. It will be on NBA TV. Deuce and I will be on the call, or you can go to Stockton Arena, watch the game live. I think you can go to StocktonKings.com.
Can't wait.
Yeah, Stockton.
Ellis for the
Just
win.
search Stockton Kings, and you guys can get tickets online too.
It's a tough game, man.
It is. It's gonna.
I'm a little concerned.
I'm a
about that
little
game.
nervous. I don't like this feeling.
Skyforce, man. Miami Heat's G League team. They bring it, man. They know how to play.
They don't care what if they're up by 20. They're gonna crush you.
With the concern that Deuce has, I think that should show you how confident he is tonight that the Kings will win.
Exactly.
This isn't like a thing that he does for just every game. It's like, oh yeah, gonna win.
Dude, I love how honest Slater got there at the end. He's like, well, I mean,
He was trolling.
Yeah.
no, he wasn't.
No,
He's not. He's a little. He's got his little Kings fandom with him. You're welcome, Scooter. Chronometer? No, it is not. It's just normal broadcast. That was just me getting excited about female presence on all broadcasts.
NBA TV, baby.
Deuce, NBA TV Deuce is much different than GLeague.com's Deuce.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I bring it the same no matter what, clown.
It is funny when we were calling it at Golden One Center, that game, I was giving Deuce, I was messing with Deuce and saying like, oh, you sound like it's a much bigger arena, huh? It is funny though. You feel a difference because you don't feel like everyone can hear you at Golden One Center when we were there calling the game.
By the way, tomorrow night you got Pelicans, Denver Nuggets, or Stockton Kings, Sioux Falls Skyforce on NBA TV.
Let me think.
Just wait. When we come back Friday, NBA TV's Stockton Kings game outrates Pelicans Nuggets.
We did. I mean, I know we used to have the
highest rated G League game in NBA TV history.
Well, we did have the highest G League broadcast in the G League.
That was like 20 years ago. More relax.
That was like the first couple of years. Relax. God. Can we just like celebrate achievements?
Yeah, I did. I celebrated like 7 years ago when it happened. For sure. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we should celebrate the Giants winning the World Series, Morgan. Oh, that was 2014. Cool. Thanks, man.
I hate him. Is Rami coming in for closing time?
I hope so.
Okay, cool.
It's not really closing. We kind of stopped doing that. It's Wednesdays with Wami is what we call it.
That's what we Wednesdays with Wami.
We'll call it that from now on.
Thank you. Of course, now I have to go to the bathroom. Cool. How much time do I have, Chris? No.
If the Kings win tonight, will there be a podcast outside the Deuce and Mo studios? No, but we'll definitely be live after. And then I don't know, maybe Morgan's down to
go out,
hit the town.
If the beam's out,
Chris, huh?
Oh yeah,
beam's out, Mo's out. Hello.
Yeah, the beam could be.
I would go see it.
Yes, we start at the beam and we march
to where?
Well, we're not going to
everywhere.
Not going to storm the Capitol. We're going to go to Snug.
Yes,
it's like very low
Uncle
key.
Vito's.
And Uncle Vito.
Get a slice.
Get a slice.
We stop at every bar along the way.
Get a cocktail.
Done that before.
Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports.
Were we really late for the break? Did I mess up?
Yeah.
How late were we?
We were like a couple
About
minutes
4
late.
minutes.
That's why
What?
he didn't do his
I thought we broke
update.
at 24. What
It's
time
okay,
did
we were
break?
having a good
No, we
conversation.
went at like 26.
Oh,
Yeah, I noticed, but we were having a
Closer to
good
27.
I'd rather have a good conversation. So
Fire me. Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140, sacktownsports.com. My bad, though. Honestly, I didn't even realize that. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We got it. We got to do story time with Christopher Laud, right? Even if it bleeds in the next segment.
Yep.
Let's do it. Story time with Christopher Laud.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Chris Verlaud gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not. It's story time.
Story time with Christopher Laud, baby. What do you got today, Chris?
So for this first one, I thought, hey, what if we really made Morgan mad?
Oh,
Ooh.
oh no. Okay, so it's not alligators.
No.
Okay, what we got?
Okay, so this happened in Trinity, Florida, courtesy of NPR.
Florida sucks. Go on.
Last Memorial Day weekend, 4-year-old Keeling McClin accidentally burned his hand.
Oh.
Being a responsible parent, Sarah McClin took her son to an emergency room, and she also made sure that it was in her husband's provider's network, which the family has their health insurance through his company.
Okay.
The doctor said the doctor said that they could not treat her son because he had 2nd and 3rd degree burns that needed a higher level of care. The doctor referred them to a burn center at a different hospital and said since they did not provide treatment, she would not be charged for the ER visit. So like she just said, hey, we can't help your son right now. Go to this hospital. Don't worry about
Makes
this.
sense. They didn't do anything. So yeah.
Keeling had his hand bandaged up. His mother was told how to care for the wound, and that was that. But then the bill came. For the emergency room visit, the hospital billed Keeling. This is the first hospital that did nothing, and they said that they did nothing. They billed the 4-year-old $129 for the visit and the referral. They billed the 4-year-old. So think about that.
Are you kidding?
So as his mother went to dispute it, nothing happened. They said that they weren't going to charge us. They said she could not dispute the charges because the bill was not in her name.
Oh.
It was in the 4-year-old
A minor's
son's
name.
name.
Well, the kid's got to get to work then. I mean,
This went on for months.
No.
Finally, it went to collections and once again, she could not fight it because the bill was under her 4-year-old son's name. They even listed him as unemployed and uninsured.
Well, if you're
because he is a 4-year-old child.
Yeah, if you're not going to pay the bill, then sorry, you're going to jail.
So finally in this March, the beginning of this month, the healthcare insurer canceled the family's debt and apologized for what happening. So at the beginning of this month, everything was finally resolved nearly 9 months after the original visit to the doctor.
What's crazy about that? One, I hope the kid's okay with a burned hand, but then you would think that would be a simple, like, let me just call the next day and be like, hey, got to clear this up. There was this thing for you. Oh, yeah, no problem. We'll change that. Months?
Florida hates children. One.
I think this is a countrywide thing.
Well, country, this
The
country
world
does
hates
not
kids,
protect children and hates children. One. Two, I mean, I am just so confused as to why, like, they wouldn't understand that a minor, even if he was 12,
if he's 17.
Like my point is like that's insane that it would be that difficult to be like, hey, no, the name, it's a 4-year-old. Like, what is the common sense that goes into some of this stuff is just like mind blowing to me.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting. Do you have an alligator eating someone, please?
You want an animal story?
Please.
Okay. Sydney, Australia. This comes courtesy of livescience.com.
Okay.
On March 16th, a woman was swimming at a beach near Sydney and picked up a small shell. After she picked it up, a blue-ringed octopus, it's an octopus that it's small enough to fit in your hand. It's like a really tiny thing.
Oh, cute.
It fell out of the shell, landed on her stomach, and bit her twice.
Okay.
The woman experienced some abdominal pain and was treated with cold compress before being taken to the hospital to be monitored. But other than that, she was unharmed. Now, you're wondering why I brought this story up.
Yeah.
It's because this woman might be the luckiest woman alive. So I'm trying to see where I left off here. This blue-ringed octopus is one of the most toxic animals in the world. The octopus contains tetrodotoxin, which can paralyze and kill humans even in small doses. The tetrodotoxin stops the nerves from signaling the muscles, and death can occur anywhere between 20 minutes and 24 hours after the toxins enter the body.
No.
There is no cure for it, and the only thing they could do is put you on a ventilator if you start to have breathing problems.
That's insane.
She's survived.
She's fine. She was bit twice.
How?
They don't know.
I'm like looking
She
at.
must have done something nice to an octopus in the past. You've seen
love-
My Octopus Teacher. Remember that?
I love that movie.
Did you see that?
Great movie.
Love.
Man.
I would never eat an octopus again.
Well, it depends on how it's prepared.
Oh my god.
Well, no. I mean, what
this
about
this little guy is gonna kill you.
Do you think all of them are like the ones in My Octopus Teacher?
Yes. They're all smart.
You
yes.
think they're all nice?
Yeah.
They're all kind-hearted.
Just
they don't
like
do bad things.
correct. Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, yeah. What are they gonna do? Steal from another octopus? Like
They do steal.
They do.
oh my god.
Look at all the what's it? Tentacles. What are they called?
Tentacles.
Tentacles.
Good
yeah.
job.
I was gonna say testicle. I don't know why I was gonna say that.
No tentacles. There we go.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well,
I'm glad she's alive.
yeah. Me too. Not a bad story.
Yeah.
Good
So
one.
we got a break here? Or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
we should definitely.
Oh,
get a
yes,
break. Coming
sorry.
up next, it's Wednesdays with Wami. It's Deuce and Mo on Sacktown Sports 1140.
No. I didn't. I
I
just.
love that. No, we're good.
I thought like for some reason then 44 was in my head. I'm like, no, we still got a couple minutes. I want the next story. Oh my god. I am an idiot. Squid is fire with rice, says 10. Deer and fox love seafood. These are all people in the chat saying that.
What's up, chat? You see, Porzingis and Kuzma are closing in potentially on new deals with the Wizards.
Yes.
Weird. The Wizard, like, okay, you're gonna just run it back with Beal, Porzingis, and Kuzma, and that's gonna be your squad to compete. Haven't we seen the sample size this year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you feel like it could work, but at the same time, you're going to have to make significant tweaks.
Good luck.
There was flashes of it working, and maybe they're betting on health. They're like, yeah, but if KP's healthy he was healthy for the majority of his time with Washington, though, right?
This year he's played the
what I'm
most games he has played, I think, in like 5 years.
Yeah.
He's had a really good year.
Yeah. I mean, smart of him. Take the deal. Take the deal and run, kid. What do we have Friday? Okay, cool.
Let's see, chat. You have ideas of where we should go tonight? Let's see here. Someone mentioned Shady Lady.
You know what my pick is every time.
Limelight.
Yeah.
That's like a
Limelight
last
guy.
resort.
Last resort. When's the last time you went?
Dang.
With you.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. That was
No.
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah. It's a
Same.
last resort.
What's bad was like, and I wasn't even at my best because I walked in just like I already had an evening, and then Deuce decided to join us.
It was sunny outside.
No, it wasn't. This is like night.
Oh, we've gone twice then with you.
Yeah, you weren't there.
Yeah,
one of
this
the
was
times.
solo.
You were
Oh, okay.
definitely not
I
there.
was then maybe I was there with you the sunny time. I
We had a
remember
good time.
my friend
We-
Sam was there.
We definitely did not invite you that time around.
Oh, well, I came.
Definitely did not want you there.
Well, I came, had fun.
Is YouTube down right now? Just in
I
general?
I think so. I just saw.
Like YouTube the site.
Oh,
No, it's there.
I keep
there's some YouTube
having
issues,
struggles.
I think.
Yeah.
I think there's some YouTube issues right now.
There was issues earlier too. It said like at one point that we had like 20 people watching in the middle of the show, and I was like, no, there's not. And then it was like, no, 220.
Is YouTube down?
I don't know when Rami will be here, but I just told him to walk in.
That's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Maybe YouTube's fine. Maybe it's here at the station. I don't know.
Some stuff's been kind of acting.
It's working. Here.
It's been weird today.
Okay.
Live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sacktown Sports app.
Cattles and Rami coming up at 2. Hey, it's Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. We're going to be off tomorrow. So, yeah, we won't be here the show after the Kings clinch. We got a Stocking Kings playoff game to get ready for, and we'll be back on Friday. But don't fret. We're live and local all day, committed to being live and local. Starting with the morning, we have coverage in Portland. Dave and Jason are there. Frankie Cardicelli is in Portland to see the Kings clinch, and that means you have to go to sacktownsports.com to get all the coverage, exclusive content, all at sacktownsports.com. The Kings are going to make history tonight, ending this long drought, 17 consecutive years. No, the drought ends at 16. Kings are beating the Blazers tonight.
Hope so.
14-point favorites in Portland. There are going to be a ton of Kings fans in the building.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably going to hear some light the beam chants, and hopefully they're doing that because they are winning, and it's not just like, oh, it's a close game. It's take care of business.
Maybe
take
someone
care.
was, oh, sorry.
No, what?
Maybe someone was listening to this show that's going up there and heard Doug's chant.
What
Maybe
was oh
maybe we hear that tonight.
yeah, for sure. That would be great too.
Morgan, we could still get on a flight to go to Portland.
Are you really looking at that right now?
If you really want to.
And then
if you can get on we could depart here.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no way. Never mind. There's no flight available.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, you're only on one airline, but
There's a nonstop flight, 420. You land at 5:50 in Portland.
wow.
How close is the Portland airport to the arena?
It's close.
Yeah, I think it's only like within 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
How funny would that be?
That would be funny. My brother's there, so just be like, hey, what's up? Where you
The
sitting?
airport is 5 minutes away, by the way. 5 minutes away from.
Oh, it's only 5?
Yeah, so you could get to the game before tip off, Morgan.
Well, hey Rami, you want to go to Portland with us
He's
tonight?
got a show to do.
No, Cattles is fine.
Yeah. What's up, Rami? Oh, you're mine.
I'm Icon
Yeah.
Radio. When do we hit the road?
There's a flight at 420.
Nonstop,
Land at 5:50. The airport's 5 minutes away from the arena. You get there, go to the game.
If I got Wi-Fi on the plane, I can just
there you go.
zoom into the show.
That's a good point.
On my way to the game, like that's a great bit, isn't it?
Great
It's a great bit.
I mean, you've done the show a little bit from an elevator.
That day, I had in my head that if I was stuck on that elevator any longer, just send me the link to zoom into
StreamYard.
the show, and I'll do it from a dark elevator. But unfortunately, I got out. You know, yeah.
Why'd that happen?
But no, I would love to. I've never been to Portland. I hear it's lovely.
Ooh.
I haven't either.
It's better than
No?
Seattle.
I like Portland.
I can't hear Verlad.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
I
He
walked
said
in
he
late,
said
I
it's
don't have
better than
headphones.
Seattle, which I don't even necessarily agree with. I like Seattle and I like Portland.
But Verlad hates Seattle. Am I
Mhm.
right about that?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate the people of Seattle.
He hates the
which he
people of
can't hear.
Seattle.
Okay, not the place, just the people. Yeah.
Oh God, Chris.
How you doing, man? It's
I'm
been a
good.
minute. Yeah.
Much better. Yeah. How are you guys
Dude,
doing?
good. Excited about tonight, even
Yeah.
though the game's going to be kind of a dud because Portland's not playing anyone, but the Kings are 14-point favorites. It is happening.
14-point favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you nervous at all?
No, they got this.
Thank you.
Wait,
Thanks.
wait, wait, wait.
It's a wrap.
Were
Yeah.
you saying that on Monday night too? Be honest.
Monday.
Be
You're
honest.
asking me to remember back to Monday?
Yes, against
yeah,
the T-Wolves.
I thought they were going to win on Monday.
See,
I did.
see.
But
Yeah,
no,
but this is different.
Yeah,
too,
this
right?
happens. Yeah, it's happening tonight. Rest easy. It's happening tonight.
I hate this. I hate this, Rami. Literally, Deuce in the entire city of Sacramento is like, oh man, it's Monday. I mean, Christopher Laud and him were chanting "Light the Beam" at like 11 a.m. And I'm just like, you guys, like, it's still gonna be a tough matchup. Like, cool down. And now we're here on a Wednesday going up against Portland, just hoping that they can get a win against a G League team tonight.
Did you guys watch?
It's such a dumb thing to say.
There's only. I got my headphones on just in time to hear that.
Yes.
Thank you for a lot. Did you guys watch the first season of the TV show The Bear on FX?
No, I've heard good
and
things
Hulu?
about it.
I'm like 6 episodes
Okay.
into it after like 2 nights. I'm just binging the hell out of it. And there was a line in the episode last night that reminded me of Kings fans. One guy looks at another guy and he goes, do you ever realize that you're afraid something good is going to happen because then something bad is going to happen?
That's perfect.
Yep. Yes.
That made me think of Kings fans.
Uh-huh. No, that's so true. That is so true. I mean, we had Anthony Slater on and he was like, yeah, at that Minnesota game, he's like, I was interviewing Brad Miller in the third quarter because, he's talking about celebrating tonight. He's going to have some fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you guys, like everyone
It
just
did
thought.
feel like it was going to happen on Monday. I can't lie. It felt like it. Like Golden
Yeah,
One
the
was
vibes.
electric. Yeah, it was. The vibes were definitely there. I thought it was happening, but no, they got this. It's happening
Also,
tonight.
how great is it for you? Think about it.
I know.
You come at your first year.
I know.
And
You're
their playoff
welcome.
team- Yeah,
It's
thank
what
you.
we call the Mackloff magic.
Yes, it's true. He's been saying it all year, and it's like, hey, you can't deny it now.
No.
Early on, it was like, oh, maybe there's magic. They're going to clinch tonight.
And by the way, there was a pretty good mathematical chance that they clinched last week, but
Sure.
I was not here.
Oh.
And so the Mackloff magic, it dissipated
You can't
a little
deny
bit.
it.
It's undeniable.
Not
is
now.
what it is.
I'm
I'm the best acquisition of the offseason. That's what I am.
This is where I start to
in the
turn
whole
on.
NBA.
This is where I start to turn on Rami.
Here's a question. This is classic Deuce right now. Do you think we should take a flight? It takes off at 4:20, lands at 5:50 tonight. Go to the game, and then you come back tomorrow morning, a 5 a.m. flight, land at 6:30.
I would do it.
Okay.
If I was you guys, I would do it.
Okay.
Is it a crazy expensive flight? That would be the only thing holding me back.
It's not. I mean, I don't know. Is this for 2 tickets or one? Oh, this is only for one.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
expensive
okay, that
for
is-
Portland.
I thought this was 2.
I
Okay.
can't even see the number. I just saw
It's
Deuce's
526 round trip.
Oh my God, no.
No.
But it's
No.
a moment. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you pay more for moments.
No, I'm good.
To be there to chant the beam.
Yeah. No.
As the final
Also,
seconds tick off.
Let's talk about all the times you pay for tickets to go to games, Morgan. Oh, wait, you're at every game getting paid to go. So one time you got to
my
pay to go to a game.
fair point.
Wow.
Why are you
How
shoving
many
it in my
times have you
face?
been ringside at a wrestling event for free? I mean, you gotta go. I equate all those things in my head, and it's like, oh, I'm up still. I'm still up. It's worth it.
Feeling a little guilt, and honestly,
That's fair. Then what the man is saying is fair. I can't lie.
we could probably find a way to get free tickets.
I mean, you just walk in. It's Portland. You just walk in. They don't care.
They're
Yeah,
probably
come on.
handing them out
Yeah.
front.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, you guys are awful, awful.
When you land in the airport, they're like, you guys want some Blazers tickets?
You can have them.
Stadium is right
Yeah.
there. The arena is literally right there. You want to go to a Blazers game?
Courtside.
Do you want to play for Portland tonight? Because we actually
They're holding
need.
a jersey
Yeah.
that says Deuce on the back.
You can play.
Deuce is playing against the team that he actually wants to win.
Oh, yeah.
Deuce would be telling the coaches, all right, this is what Fox likes to do, okay?
We win by 20. So what's coming up today?
Lots of Kings talk.
Oh, yeah.
I want to ask you guys a question we're going to get to later in the show because you're both big Kings fans. So
Okay.
it's going to happen tonight, as I've told you. How do you celebrate? What are you going to do to celebrate? Are tears shed?
I personally, I think I'm probably going to tear up a bit. I would have teared up more
Don't blame you.
at home. Champagne's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Champagne's on ice.
Nice.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Gonna have
Nice.
some champagne tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then honestly, we were talking about going out after.
Really?
Unless we go to Portland.
Okay.
If the
Unless you
beam-
go to Portland. Yeah.
If the beam was lit tonight, if they do
That's a good point.
light it for like a clinching, which I don't agree with lighting it for anything else, but I'm like, if you clinch the playoffs for the first time in 16
So you're saying
years,
if they lose but clinch?
no,
Oh.
win but clinch.
Okay.
Oh wait, so they get the beam anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they
I
win.
forgot how beam works.
Yeah, when they win, Mo, they light the beam.
I hate myself. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna get drunk and go see the beam.
Nice, awesome. That's what if drinking's your thing, cool. Everybody should like just gravitate to the beam if they win tonight.
I
there
think
should
that
be a
could be pretty
huge
magic. I think you will get
gathering
that.
around the beam.
Oh, screw Portland. I'm going to the beam.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. All right, coming up next, you got Kennels and Rami. Kings closing in on clinching a playoff spot. It happens tonight. We love you guys, but we got to go.
See ya.